very, very important player for North Melbourne. And Cameron Mooney plays his first game today for North Melbourne. His brother Jason Mooney plays down there at Geelong. So North Melbourne, 5 players out of the grand final side from last year.
Yes, and 3 changes from last week too. Mooney, as you said, was one of them. Malcolm Blight, well, he has had a foot in both camps, hasn't he? And a short time ago, Richard Osborne caught up with him.
Well, Malcolm, you find yourself at 4-2 at this stage of the season. Kangaroos 3-3. Obviously a very important game for both clubs.
Yes, it is, Richard. We've had some great games over the last couple of years, and I'm sure this one's going to be no different. Yeah, if we can go to 5-2, obviously that's a great start for us, and they just want to hang on too. So, yeah, as I said, I'm looking forward to the game, actually.
I noticed you're playing Mark Rashuda off the half back line. Is that for more penetration, or for the fact that he's being tagged, or for what reason, Mel?
It's a bit of everything. We probably have a bit of a rotation system through the middle of the ground, and if someone gets busy for us, they usually drop someone on. So hopefully we've got that flexibility at the back that we can swap guys around, and Mark's just going through that at the moment, and he's playing very well.
One of your young fellas, Brett Burton, what can you tell us about him? It looks like he's got a fair bit of class.
Yeah, he has actually. You know, he set the last couple on the bench, but he's come on and done something for us. He can play forward, back, or as we found out the other day, he can play on ball as well. So, yeah, look, he's only a young fella and he's just learning his way, but his contribution's been terrific.
Obviously, a grand final replay from last season. Has the build-up been any different back home?
Look, it probably has for us. Yeah, you know, we had to play Port last week, so that was a fair bit of build-up for that one. So this one's really, I wonder where the Crows are at. Is a bit like Adelaide, I think, would be thinking that.
Sure. Thanks, Malcolm, and good luck for today's game.
Thanks, Richard.
Well, we're all wondering, Kev, where the Crows are at the moment. They've played the Roos here on 5 occasions, and it's currently 1-4. They'll be out to improve that this afternoon. And Robrin, that man there, he could be a key.
Well, he booted 5 goals last week, and when he's playing well at centre-half forward, he is a very, very good player. He does go through patches where he does struggle, but we know he's a thumping kick, and when he's marking well, he also does kick goals. We can see Andrew McLeod there.
Norm Smith medalist.
And this ground he absolutely loves. I don't think this is a hoodoo ground for McLeod. And we see the Adelaide side, Jarman has been in marvellous form this year, and it's going to be interesting to see who they get to pick up Darren Jarman. Pittman in the ruck, this is where he has been terrific. Of course, they've lost Wren and also Ben Marsh from the Premiership side last year, both out with knee injuries, but Pittman is a very, very good player. I know that he got criticised there once by Malcolm Blight, but he's answered all of his critics. Well, it did work because he's come back and he's been magnificent. Rashuda has been playing on the half-back line this year, but I think this is a good thing about Malcolm Blight's coaching. He is very unpredictable, Malcolm Blight. Who he play at full forward, who he plays in the centre of the ground. He just mentioned that he might rotate people through the centre of the square. He's very good at coming up with something that is unusual and catches the opposition out.
Let's see what he does today. One change in Adelaide, Connell in, Bond out. Peter McKenna joins us in commentary this afternoon. The Crows out on the ground. We'll take a break and be back with the first quarter after this. Andreas Richard Osborne, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pete. As you can hear, the crowd starting to build, starting to roar. The game's just about to start. Very evenly matched 2 sides, so it's going to be a beauty, boys.
Thanks, Ozzy. Bickley wins the toss and goes to the right. And a big cheerio to Neil Curley. I know he's watching at home over in Adelaide. Curls, we hope you're getting better. We hope you're back on track soon, mate. We certainly miss you. So be good, be well, and we'll see you again soon. Smart, onto the left. Up towards half forward. Martin gets dragged off the football. Gets another chance. Mighty Mick. Gee, that was almost a throw over the top. Snapped by Jarman. That's as far as it's going. Grant gets it out to Pike. Pike chips it in short. Up to Archer on the boundary. Jarman again. Loves this ground. Blocked by Abraham. Peter McKenna, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Pete. And I thought then Jarman was going to do one of his little waltzes around the opponent and kick a goal, but Abraham came at him very, very hard. Here's McCartney against Robrin. McCartney actually got it down. That was Abraham. He was looking towards the... Well, it was Archer he was looking for. Here's the dangerous Jarman appealing for the free kick. Holding the ball. He looked up at the umpire, wanting the free kick, but the umpire said, "You're gone for holding it." And a legitimate tackle.
Yes, and Glenn Archer also looks like he's going to pick up Darren Jarman.
So Pike from the half-back line drives out in the direction of the half-back area, and Richard Osborne has got the Kangaroos bench.
Brady Rawlings, Scott Welsh, Cameron Mooney and Robert Scott.
And I think that's the matchup we've been looking forward to, Pete, with Darren Jarman, of course, the The magical goal kicker being picked up by the spirit of North Melbourne in Glenn Archer. That will be one great duel.
Smart tries to charge his way through. Kangaroos trying to set something up. Now it comes out to Clayton. Clayton from right half back. Now they go forward again. Pick up towards half forward. Opportunity for Scholl. Gets grabbed. Did he have the football? Bassett trying to paddle it forward. Grant goes in to lend assistance, and it will be a ball up 15 metres out from the Kangaroos goal.
Still just didn't quite get the bounce he wanted then, Pete. He wanted the ball to roll on, but instead it sat up in the air a little bit too high, and that put Scholl under a lot of pressure then.
Scholl back into the side today. One of 3 changes for the Roos. McCurtain to take on Pittman. Pittman wins it. Goes defensively for Caven. Caven onto the right. Brings it up towards only where Shannon Grant takes the mark. Centering kick from him. Oh, that's beautifully delivered. McCurtain let out well.
They were very disciplined then, North Melbourne too, from that boundary or that ball up, because they had 3 players standing back building the wall. Shannon Grant was one of them, just so that if the ball came out quickly, that they'd have the wall built back there, and that's when Shannon Grant took the mark, and then he was able to pinpoint this kick to Corey McKernan. Now, unfortunately, we can see down on the ground a Crows player. We'll just see if we get a look at his face there.
Mark Bickley, I think.
And it is Mark Bickley.
Gee, that's a blow.
And he's holding his leg.
Let's hope that's not a break.
So that will mean that McKernan will be held up in his shot for goal. And this is well off the ball, I might add, so it happened a little while back.
Well, it's on the half-forward flank for the Crows, and of course Corey McKernan is shooting from around about 30 metres out from North Melbourne's goal, so it's a long way from the action.
Yeah, so that happened in a passage of play. We'll go back and check the tape and see if we have a replay of that. This is a bad blow for Adelaide, needless to say. And Crows officials not taking any chances with Bickley being taken straight from the field. Tyson coming on.
Well, let's hope that's not serious. A serious leg injury, because Mark Bickley's an inspirational player, a gutsy little fella. So I just don't like the way he was clutching at that leg then, Kevin.
Well, it's hard to say, but obviously he's in a fair bit of trouble. You can see there that the physio with his hand there on the shin bone between the ankle and the knee, and that's where Mark Bickley himself was handling his leg. So one only assumes that that's where the injury is.
That could be, well, it could be a break. Let's hope it's not. And Bickley in a good deal of bother.
James Tyson came on to replace him, who was a very good player in the premiership win last year, the former Richmond player, who's been a real surprise packet since leaving Tigerland and going across to South Australia and then finding his way onto the Adelaide list, and has become a key player. Just goes to show you the depth. There he is on screen, able to start on the interchange bench. And you might remember in that grand final last year that after half-time he was one of the key players who really kept Adelaide in the game.
Well, first Sean Renner, now Bickley. It's a sorry sight for Adelaide. Let's hope he's okay. Back to McCurtain. 35 metres out, directly in front, goes at goal. And what's he done with this one? Right on the goal umpire. He has missed, so one behind. Kicked by Corey McCurtain.
Well, how many goals have we seen in recent weeks missed from that area, Kevin?
That was a poor kick. He's kicked 10 goals for the season, but directly in front, 30 metres out, you would expect someone of the ability of Corey McKernan to just nail that goal.
So Ben Hart is champion player to half back. A nice mark. That was Johnny Blakey on the Winston Abraham, who is normally a great kick. He brings it in towards the full forward area. And the pack develops, and the umpire no doubt will come in. Oh, he's letting it go for a long time and then elects to come in and bounce it. Richard Osborne has got the Crows bench.
Matthew Golding, Mark Bickley has just come off. We'll keep you up to date on his problems. Brett Burden and Matthew Connell.
Thank you, Ozzy. Right in front of the Kangaroos goal, McKernan doing the ruck work. Bassett trying to get away with it, and the umpire will come in and bounce it again.
Kangaroos be hoping, Pete, that early behind and bad miss by Corey McKernan isn't a follow-on from the grand final last year when they kicked themselves out of it in the first half after dominating the game. Let's hope history doesn't repeat itself if you're a North Melbourne supporter.
So Pittman and McKernan. Pittman trying to go over the boundary line, but Bell latches onto it and has kicked a great goal.
$1 million. The thought of winning it has sent some people into a frenzy. Now, the unthinkable is about to happen. Channel 7 is raising the stakes to $2 million. That's $2 million.
Let's get down to business of making somebody seriously rich.
There's only one show to go. The $2 million final. $1 million chance of a lifetime, Monday.
Peter Bell kicks the first goal of the game for the Kangaroos, and they're off to a good start. Now there's a whistle. Costa's put the ball forward, but it's coming back. It's going to be a Crows free kick. And probably will go to Pittman, will it? Yes, it will.
Poor checking also by the Crows defence then to allow Peter Bell just have that straightforward run into goal.
Archer has his name written all over it and takes the mark at centre half back in front of Stevens. Got plenty of options. Martin takes the mark in front of Jarman. Martin from left half back. Staged free kick, McKernan. The advantage paid. Stevens, Scholl, sticky fingers, marks in front of Bassett. Great kick.
Well, he's a very versatile player, Craig Scholl. First started his career as a wingman and as a half-back, but then has gone to full forward over the last few years and has done very well on occasions for North Melbourne. And Bassett there, who last year finished 10th in the Crows' best and fairest after only playing half the season. They've got a high opinion of him, but Scholl, a dangerous player.
From 48 metres for the Kangaroos second, and he has kicked it. Every time I've seen Scholl play on the forward line, particularly at full forward, he's done well, and he started off in fine fettle today with that mark and goal.
Well, Mick Martin from the last line of defence. What I like about Mick is that he never gets his ambitions and capabilities mixed up. He generally kicks the ball long. It was a good piece of acting there by Jason McCartney. They paid the advantage, and Anthony Stevenson. The ball finally finished into a very open forward line. There was just Scholl and Bassett on that forward line then, so it'll be pretty difficult for Bassett if the ball keeps coming in like that, playing on a player like Scholl. Richard Osborne, you got an update on the injury to Mark Bickley?
Yeah, thanks, KB. I just spoke to the Adelaide Crows club doctor. A very badly sprained ankle. At this stage, doubtful that he'll come back on.
Well, that's probably good news.
Good news and bad news, isn't it?
It's only an ankle, because they certainly, you can recover from them a lot quickly. Trying to get away with it then was young Gallagher. He's lost it, though. Winston Abraham, a daisy cutter down towards Scholl again. Now, the umpire's paying the free kick back on towards centre wing, and it looks like, is it Bell or Stevens? In fact, it's Grant. Grant kicking it to Stevens. They're looking dangerous north. A low trajectory kick is a beauty, but that is a good mark taken by James, chipping across in front of McKernan. Now, Brett James, former Magpie, of course, finds David Pittman. Pittman at half-back goes for the chip pass, and he finds Andrew Eccles. One of the many players that have come out of the under-18 competition. He was with the Northern Knights. Quick kick from Hart to James, to half-forward looking for Robran. No mark. The ball hits the deck. Here's Nigel Smart dodging and weaving. Well played by Smart. Bends it back, but racing back to take the mark is Matthew Capuano.
On to Grant. Didn't I see him at a long-sleeve jumper a short time back? He's changed it. Up towards centre wing.
That is a beautiful kick by Grant. That's the second great kick he's given to Corey McKernan.
McKernan on centre wing. Gee, unloads with a bomb. Down towards left half forward. 1-on-1 contest. No one can take it. Gallagher. Quick hand pass. On to the left is Simpson. Chance for the Roos again. Bell. Can he kick his second? It's going close, but just to the left-hand side from Peter Bell. So his tally for the game early in the first quarter is 1-1. Malcolm Blight looks on. 1-1 from 2-2. Adelaide yet to score. The grand final rematch. Not the crowd we had for that game last year, predictably. Pittman in front. Got a couple of hands to it. Kane Johnson quickly up towards centre wing. Missed Eccles. Gives the chance to Pike. He'll be more than content to see that over the boundary line, right in front of our commentary position next to the interchange gates.
Well done to Martin Pike. It was 3 against 1. He took the bit between the teeth and just charged at the ball and straight out of bounds. Great stuff.
You nearly would have got a touch there, Aussie, I think, wouldn't you?
Not on Mother's Day, mate.
Ruck infringement here, and it will be a free kick to Capuano. I think he's going to take it. He is. Capuano short of left centre wing. Missed a few games through injury earlier in the season. Coming back to some of his best form. Boots it long up towards half forward. McKernan again got a hand to it. Couldn't complete it. Chance for Hart. Hart up towards the Crows right half forward flank. Fickle bounce. Clean bowls Robron. And McCartney pumps it back to Capuano. He decides to go for a run.
So Matthew Capuano, an important player in this Kangaroo side. It's flipped over the back. Young Gallagher gets in a quick hand pass, but North have got it. It's the pace of Harvey. As a bounce, he can go over the top. He does so. Peter Bell racing in. He stopped it low and he has kicked his second.
Here's a couple who bought a renovator's delight. While they're proud of the breakthrough they made,
put in some French doors and then pave the courtyard.
not everybody shares their vision. And here's the Mitre 10 specialist.
Let's start with Accent. It's good value. It's our own brand. Great range of colours.
From the store that understands it's not just the low price, it's getting the right advice that really saves you money.
You can see it, can't you, darling?
Yeah. It'll come.
Again, a good start by the Kangaroos. Bell 2 and Craig Scholl 1. And Adelaide yet to score. So not a good start from them, particularly with their captain Mark Bickley off the ground with, as Richard Osborne told us, an injured ankle. That's the good news and the bad news. And looked as though it could have almost been a broken leg, but he has an injured ankle. Let's hope it's not too serious. So a bounce again. Capuano wins it. Tried to get it to Simpson. Not successful. Gee, that's almost a high tackle. It is a high tackle. It will be a Crows free kick to be taken down there by Mark Rasciuto. 98 best and fairest. Tried to find Stevens. Gets Robram instead. Now, snap down there by Tyson Edwards. And rushed through for one behind by Archer. And that's Adelaide's first score. A rush behind as we approach the halfway mark of the first quarter. 11.5 minutes remaining in the term. Number 28 for the Roos is Pickett. He kicks into the outer side.
Yes, and in sensational form, Byron Pickett driving long, a 60-metre kick. He was looking for McCartney. He'll be trying hard against his old club. It's it out to Blakey. Now Anthony Stevens. They've got plenty of strength midfield. He brings it into that half-forward corridor. Thumped away. Here's little Peter Bell again. He's doing very, very well. Shannon Grant on the left. Bends it back. He's kicked the goal. All North on fire.
Well, again, Peter Bell. There's that man on screen. He's causing all sorts of problems at the moment. You see Anthony Stevens just belt this ball down towards centre half forward, and Scholl contested very, very strongly. And this is where Bell is at the foot of the pack, and that rocketing hand pass to Grant got the lucky bounce here, but if it had a bounce the other way, Harvey would have got it as well. So this start, in fact, before when they went inside 50, it took 14 minutes for the Adelaide Crows to have one possession inside 50.
25 points the margin. 11 minutes left in the first quarter. And Adelaide has to do something quickly, or this game will be blown wide open by quarter time. Comes to the edge of the square again. Bell. Grant around McLeod. Kicks inside 50 again. A 2-on-2 contest. Bassett might go off the ground. He can't. Scholl. Snaps for his second. It bounces and bounces through. 5 to the Roos.
Well, I always thought that you had to take your new car back to the dealer to get it serviced. But this friend of mine said that she gets hers serviced at UltraTune. They use all of the right parts and the price is fixed. Hey, they sound pretty good to me.
Well, Dennis Pagan chewing there. Malcolm Blight would be a very, very worried man. North are playing a fantastic first term, as they did in the grand final. Now, McLeod down towards the half-forward line. Archer on Jarman. I think that's a very, very good matchup. Capuano went in. Now Archer. Now Shannon Grant. They're up and running again. John Blakey. He kicked 3 goals last week. He can kick another one from 40 metres right through the middle. How about this?
Well, North Melbourne would wish that they could have kicked this straight in the grand final last year. 6-2-38 to 1 behind. And again, we see Grant and Capuano at the centre bounce. This is where they've done so well. McLeod, again, he had to kick the ball under pressure. Thumped away by Archer. And Capuano again coming out. And there's Archer. He's just a magnificent player out of defence. And Grant has been so instrumental in this first quarter. And John Blakey, playing game number 281, is a great finisher. He's been a wonderful player. And one day for certain we'll reach the 300-game milestone.
Exactly halfway through the first quarter, 6-2 to 1 behind, and that 1 behind from the Crows was a rush behind. Tyson onto McLeod. McLeod, the dual Norm Smith medalist. Can he get the Crows' first goal? He has! And boy, was that needed. They're the 2 players that got it for them. Tyson the assist, McLeod the goal.
Well, if there was a player you could bank on maybe giving you a bit of a lift, you'd look to the dual Norm Smith medalist. And McLeod with that hard running out. Archer was so desperate there. He just needed that ball to just stand on its end momentarily, but McLeod got the bounce he wanted. 44 disposals to the Kangaroos, 22 to Adelaide. So it gives you an indication that's double, and the scoreboard indicates just how much the Kangaroos have been dominating this game so far.
Yes, Andrew McLeod was sensational in the finals last year. Here's Bell. What a pickup he's been. Archer, quick little hand pass, so no free kick. McLeod did well. Tyson Edwards, the North Melbourne players are very, very good tacklers. The ball's got to come back. It'll be a Tyson Edwards free kick.
Yeah, against Byron Pickett's flat in the back he was.
Thank you, Richard. But they need a couple of quick goals. They kick, as we have a look at it again, in the back. The umpire has paid. Now McLeod goes short, and he has found Tyson. Tyson will have to kick 55, so probably the distance a bit of a doubt, but he can set it up to the goal square. A couple of quick goals, and all of a sudden they could be back in it. Here's the kick from Tyson. It's a wobbly one. It'll be a mark. Geez, it must have been touched. Here's the kick, Stephen, and that was Stevens from 25 metres, and a quick reply.
Where are we?
Oh, we're about 12 kilometres from home. Honey, we're home. Nice and comfy. Sleep tight.
New Mitsubishi Verada, now with every possible luxury, including a panic alarm. Nothing overlooked. It is Mitsubishi.
38 career goals to Mark Stevens, so the Crows have got the last 2. That was a handy one. Oh, good bump by Abraham, Costa, Rasciuto, Eccles. So they've moved up a gear or 2, Adelaide, and boy, they needed to. Guess who's in the road? Archer again. Didn't pay the marks. Yes, he did.
Didn't even flinch either, Pete. He knew he was going to get hit, and as he does, Glenn Archer, he just back.
He's like the Rock of Gibraltar. Johnny Blakey, the veteran, playing probably his best football of his career too. Built like a yard of pump water, but I still don't think I'd like to run into him. Oh, McKernan! What a mile in the air. He was looking for the oxygen bottle. Off the ground. McLeod. Gore goes out wide. This could be dangerous here. Loose ball. If Blakey gets onto it, he could just about snare it. Harvey. Back to Bell. He's kicked 2 already. Shannon Grant in the goal square. Gallagher punches it through for a rush behind to the Kangaroos. Let's take a look at McKernan's attempt. Wow.
Well, it's good to see Corey McKernan attacking the ball like that, because we know what a fabulous mark he is. And it was only about 2.5 seasons ago where some people were suggesting he was nearly as good as Wayne Carey.
Ben Harders kicks straight to Pike. Pike on the left. He's looking for Scholl. Bassett over the back and thumps it over the line. 26 points to margin. The Crows in the last couple of minutes getting back into it with a couple of quick goals, and they're a side that's capable of scoring very, very quickly. David Pittman. He flies over the back. It's back towards the boundary line, and in fact over again. Archer's doing particularly well down the other end on Darren Jarman, who's really will find it a difficult task. As good as he is, there he is. He's in for a tough day on Archer. McKernan, very, very well done. Onto Harvey. Harvey bends it back to bounce. Very important here. Golding goes in after it. It's shuffled out. That was by Rawlings. And the umpire will come in and bounce it again. Now, this is 20 metres out from the Kangaroos' goal. They lead by 26 points. Two pretty evenly matched teams. Pittman and McKernan. Hart tapped it back. Now a chance for Rawlings. Adam Simpson was there, and again, it'll be a throw-in.
The left forward pocket for the Kangaroos, 26 points the margin. Under 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Crows have beaten North or the Kangaroos just once here. It was in the grand final of last year. Hart tries to barge his way through. Gang tackle, holding the footy.
Goodness me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that is wrong. That is a wrong decision, in my opinion. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, let's have a look at the replay. We'll take you through it, Pete. Now, he's got the ball there.
Oh, he was tight in the pack, surely.
I certainly would not pay that as a free kick. You've got to have prior opportunity, and that means you've got to have some opportunity to sum up what you want to do with the ball and how you want to dispose of it. And that was a bit too quick that time by the umpire.
Goodness me.
So Stevens has a shot at goal. And a chance to increase the Roos lead, currently standing at 26 points. 4 times runner-up in the club best and fairest, which he won in '97. Off the left, gets the goal.
Exposing AFL's footy spies.
That's all part of the game.
Lifting the lid on the dirty deeds of the league's infiltrators.
You get a dossier on everybody.
Footy Spies, a special report on 7 Nightly News, Monday night. On Today Tonight, workers fight back. Employees claim their company traps their customers.
What am I doing to these poor people?
Now, they are blowing the whistle. And those Millennium pregnancy tests. Monday.
There's Anthony Stevens, who laid that tackle, and Ben Hart, who would be extremely disappointed with that decision. I thought it was a very, very bad one. Centre of the ground. Clayton, oh, he did well. Blakey is there, just a little fumble, but it's pretty hot out there. You can't fumble for 1 split second in the modern day game, Kevin, or you're gone.
Yes, and we see a good start here by the Kangaroos, mainly I think because Grant and Bell have had 16 possessions between them. There's Shannon Grant, speaking of the devil.
Yes, he's a good player, good skills, and that is a top mark. Brent Harvey, another player from the Northern Knights, and very, very quick player, puts it up for his high markers. Durkay is at the back. Shudo onto Gallagher. Gallagher looking for Smart, and a free kick will go the way of Smart. It was against young Shane Clayton. Some roars from the crowd. He goes short, and he finds Rashudo. 2 of their experienced players combining there, Nigel Smart and Mark Rashudo. Now Rashudo, a low trajectory kick. He's looking for Ben Hart, and he's got him. Gallagher's come off the ground, and coming on for the Adelaide Crows is Brett Burton.
Brett Burton, number 24. He's about at right half forward.
And I predict he'll take the mark of the century one day, that young kid.
He's got a good leap, hasn't he? Hart kicks in his direction, and there he goes. He took off like a Boeing 747 there. Tyson. It's all Roos. And as Stevens marked inside the line, he has 2 Stevenses there. Anthony Stevens with the kick. Mark Stevens was on the mark. In fact, he still is. Just up from the left back pocket. McKernan the target. McCartney was there as well. Rashudo from Tyson Edwards. Ben Hart. All Roos. They almost spoiled each other. Stevens again with Martin. Martin left it for him. Off the left to Pike. Short of right half back. Over the head of Tyson. Pike kicks to centre wing. Blakey is there. Beautiful judgment. Clear of McLeod. That's hard to do. Long towards right half forward. Bassett The only one there, runs into trouble, runs out of trouble, runs out of bounds. So the throw in right on 50, right half forward for the Roos, 3.5 minutes remaining in the term. Already kicked a goal, Johnny Blakey gets on his bike quickly to get clear of the dual Norm Smith medalist. Chance for Harvey. Oh, that is a magnificent kick. What a goal. Fantastic snap, right on the boundary line, 8-3 to 2-1.
Well, he's a very dangerous player, Harvey. We might remember when we first saw him across here in Adelaide at Football Park when he came to the side and kicked 5 goals in a fantastic display. So he certainly is a goal kicker, there's no doubt about that. He's kicked 5 goals leading into this game.
Injury worries
Gary
for
Durkay coming off.
The Roos as well.
And Scotty Welsh will come on. He's a very dangerous player, Scott Welsh. Takes a very strong overhead mark. And in fact, the Kangaroos have taken 5 marks inside their 50. The Adelaide Crows yet to take a mark.
Well, here's Peter Bell. He's doing very, very well. Kicks on the left. Now, oh, the bounce is important here. It's going to go the way of Harvey. Oh, he gets it to Rawlings. It's another goal to the Kangaroos.
Now, an important announcement.
Ali's wedged inside a toilet bowl. My hip is wedged. God, she's in the bowl.
It's a desperate situation.
I'm afraid we're going to have to break it.
What? Here's my camera.
Because when she gets out, an even bigger drama is about to unfold.
Hey, Georgia.
Who would have ever guessed?
One fine day
that Georgia could turn around and cheat on Billy. I can't. And Ali you just can't miss. Monday.
And already it's the Kangaroos' best ever first quarter against Adelaide, beating 7-4, which they kicked in round 6, 1998, also here at the MCG. A record-breaking day for the Roos. Tackled by Smart. The ball jarred free on centre wing. Johnson gets put to it quickly, down in front of the smokers stand. Archer again runs out of trouble, runs into trouble. Good tackle by Tyson Edwards. And the umpire says throw it in.
Thought it might have been a little bit high here. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, it was a bit high, KB. I think the umpire was just blindsided there, so he didn't have the right angle for it.
Well, listen to the North.
Well, he's got to make certain he's not on the blind side.
Kangaroos crowd didn't like it.
Robber in front. Tried to get it down to Burton. Not successful. Tyson fumbles. McCartney chases. Still gets his kick in. Bends it around towards the goal. Not a bad sort of a roost. Oh, Martin. It came back in a banana-type fashion, and Martin just punched it through for a rush behind.
In fact, this was good play here by Mick Martin. He's pushing and shoving, and just that ball was going to go through.
It was. It was.
And just gave himself a bit of a clap too for mighty Mick.
57-14. Pickett has been in terrific form. Pickett from right half back. Gee, gives it a decent old roost. Scholl to half forward. Rawlings. Harvey off one step down towards full forward. McKernan, too strong, too big. The big mitts go up and he takes a good grab.
Kevin, those low trajectory kicks that get the forwards quickly are invaluable, aren't they?
Well, let's have a look at Harvey here. It is important if you can kick the ball quickly through the air and you don't just lob it up in the air. It gives very little time for the opposition to get there and punch away, and we could see there McKernan, because that ball was quickly through the air, was able to take that mark. Been really impressed with the North Melbourne players. They're running really hard to space and they're kicking the ball out in front. We've got a lot of hard runners at the moment and they're winning most of the crumbs. All they have to do is finish it off, and so far they're going for their 10th goal for the quarter.
And they've got it.
Well, you don't see many quarters better than this. I'd be very happy sitting back there, Dennis Pagan. He's on record as saying he hasn't watched the grand final replay at all from last year. He's never watched the replay of the game because he said he's only looking forward. Well, North Melbourne's certainly looking forward in this game. 10-3-63 to 2-2-14. It's one of the best quarters that you'll ever wish to see.
Kev, it's also the 4th highest scoring first quarter ever at the MCG.
So with the blood rule, Winston Abraham coming off, he'll be replaced by Robert Scott, who's not a bad replacement actually. Former Geelong player a few years back, and usually is a run-with type player, formerly known as taggers, Kevin. I think the modern term is a run-with player.
Yes, stoppers or taggers.
McKernan doing a terrific job. He's been responsible for a few goals. Now he taps it down with the left hand. Now Tyson Edwards latches onto this one and hooks it back towards full forward. Mickey Martin is, Archer's having a picnic. Darren Jarman's really got a lift here because Archer is very, very dominant. Darren Jarman's had one kick and one handball, but
Archer attacks the ball,
Archer,
Pete.
yeah, 5 he's had, 5 kicks, 4 marks. Anthony Stevens to the back, McKernan. It's close to the boundary line, and
I like the look of McKernan today. I haven't seen a lot of North Melbourne this year. Look, a couple of times on the tally, but his athleticism today, he's really jumping for the ball, leaping through the air. He's getting his hands on the ball, and he looks like the Corey McKernan we saw a few years back when he was fully fit and was just a magnificent athlete.
Well, Robert Scott is back onto the bench and Winston Abraham off, so that was a very brief run for Robert. 51 seconds.
Could have left the dressing gown on.
There's Gary Durko, who seems to have some sort of a leg injury.
Yeah, they've been strapping his right ankle, Pete, so it looks very proppy running around the boundary lines.
Thanks, Richard. Mark Rasciuto to half forward. Good use of the body by Pike. David King is there. Now, Tyson Edwards on the left, hooking it back. Mickey Martin is there, should mark, and he does so.
Half minute remaining in the first quarter. A record-breaking quarter for the Roos against Adelaide, and as I mentioned, the 4th highest scoring first quarter ever here at the MCG. And if you're interested, the highest was 13-3. North Melbourne versus Richmond back in round 2 of 1990.
Remember it well, Pete.
Thank you very much. You probably would.
It was an absolute nightmare.
Well, it's a nightmare for the Crows at the moment. Abraham, they work it around. McCartney, Rasciuto. In front of Shannon Grant this time. Kicks to Stevens. Archer got a ride, gives away the free kick. Stevens will take it.
The funny thing, if he took the mark, it would have been paid, wouldn't it?
So Archer being free kicked.
Personally, I wouldn't have paid a free kick there. I think that he had his eyes on the ball, going for the ball in a legitimate manner, and therefore the free kick shouldn't have been paid. To me, there wasn't a separate movement by Archer to one either jump in then go for the mark. To me, it looked like it was all in the one action.
All right, well, Archer being free kicked, that's the only mistake he's made in the first quarter. Stevens, a chance, but he'd have to kick it a country mile. Not impossible. Gets very close to the man on the mark. It's not going to make the distance. 3 kangaroo fists ensure that. What a quarter by the Roos, blowing the game wide open and blowing the Crows out of the ballpark virtually. You'd reckon 10-3 to 2-2 at quarter time. And Dennis Pagan not smiling, but he would be a very, very happy man with that quarter. Almost a perfect quarter of football from the Roos. And that man on screen there taking Darren Jarman out of the contest.
And he, I think Kevin would agree, his best spot, Glenn Archer, is back there in defence.
Well, he can play anywhere. We saw him so good up in Sydney a couple of weeks ago. But a fantastic opening quarter. 63 plays 14. Kangaroos by 49 points.
This Mother's Day with love.
Tell me what's happening.
I don't know.
With tears.
It's happening.
And wonder.
Anybody see that? There was a noise. Did you hear it?
Imagine.
Time now for his quarter-time report, Aussie.
Well, a fantastic start for the Kangaroos. 8 goals in front at quarter time. To say that the Adelaide Crows looked a little shell-shocked in the huddle would be an understatement. I suppose after seeing Sean Wren go down and now their skipper, Mark Bickley, go down, not the ideal start for the boys, but full credit to the Kangaroos. They're looking $1 million at this stage.
Yes, more than $1 million, and that shot there perhaps sums up the Crows' day so far. Let's hope that they can come back.
Kevin, what would you do with Jarman? He's going to struggle, I would think, against Archer. Would you think about putting him midfield, or...?
Well, if in fact he can't fire on the forward line against Archer as we get into this second quarter, I'm certain that Malcolm Blight will use Darren Jarman and some other avenue out in the field, whether it goes into the midfield and see if he can... First of all, he's just got to pick up a couple of touches. If he can pick up a couple of touches, lift the confidence, then that's important to Darren Jarman. At the moment, Glenn Archer's so strong overhead. The ball's just been coming in so-so. Yep. Archer reads it well and is very strong, as we say, at attacking the ball and is very, very strong mark. But from the Adelaide Crows' point of view, they'll probably be reminded of the fact that North Melbourne led Geelong by 8 goals and lost the game, that they were 8 goals in front of Sydney and they lost the game, that these games are very, very winnable. In the grand final, they dominated the game for half a game. We came back and won the game. So when you're looking at a dual premiership side, they've got a great deal of confidence in themselves.
Well,
and they'd be looking at still winning this game.
Well, just looking, as you see, young Burton there against Mickey Martin. He's obviously gone to full forward, and Jarman has gone into the middle, as we thought.
Well, that gets a few touches and a bit of confidence.
Start of the second quarter, the Kangaroos leading by 49 points after a record first-term score here against the Crows. Stevens gives chase. He won't get there first. He might still get his hands on the footy. Claimed by James, claimed by Stevens. The tackle was too high, according to the umpire. And a free kick just outside the centre square to be taken by Adelaide.
Definitely too high, this, you can see. Forward high.
Nigel Smart tries to run on after the free kick. Comes unstuck. Abraham, outside 50, centres the ball. And that's a good mark to Ben Hart. Eyes on the footy all the time. Looking for Robran. Finds him. Marks in front of his teammate Johnson. Now he's come over the mark or around the mark. He gets around Clayton. Robran from right half-back. Badly directed kick to Peter Bell. The early star of the first quarter. He finished up kicking 2 goals. Capuano on centre wing. Drives the Roos, thumping drop punt up towards full forward. Oh, is that a mark? I think it is to McKernan.
They've also moved Mark Rasciuto to full forward for the Crows, and Robin looks like now he's playing in defence. Here's McKernan on the way down. That's a terrific grab.
4 marks, 3 kicks and 2 handballs to Corey McKernan so far, and he's kicked 1 goal, 1. Now, that's not a good sign.
So if it's not a knee, Gavin Brown came down last night from a mark and seemed to have some sort of a knee injury, a strained medial, and McKernan's not looking too good.
Playing some of his best football for a while, and I think you mentioned that, Kevin, the first quarter. He was jumping, leading, marking.
Just like he did in that pack then. He's been very athletic, and he's attacked the ball, and he's been as confident as I've seen him. So this is a blow to see McKernan leaving the field, and we can see him limping there. Let's hope it's maybe just a bruise, that it's nothing structurally wrong with Corey McKernan, because it was good to just see him back into that tremendous form that we saw him where, well, he nearly won the Brownlow medal, apart from being suspended
in '96, yeah.
And today is as good as I've seen him move for a long time.
Don't like the way he's hobbling off.
No, I don't either, but Richard Osborne will get some news on that for us shortly. So Grant takes the kick and capitalises.
Hi, Kath. How are you? What? Really? Oh, now you have to tell me what happened. And then he said, what?
Want a whole night's entertainment for $3? With Telstra STD, you'll pay no more than $3 a call to anywhere in Australia between 7 p.m. and midnight, Monday to Friday, all year round.
Hang on, Kath. Someone's at the door.
Well, Corey McKernan seems to be in a lot of pain there, and just let's hope that is not the dreaded knee injury. The fact he could hobble off, but be a medial ligament, but we won't surmise. We'll try and find out. That's Connell on the Goodwin. Goodwin, a long kick to the half-forward line. A good mark, Jason McCartney. Very, very good mark.
Well, he held Robin to no kicks in that first quarter, playing against one of his old clubs in the Adelaide Crows, so McCartney keen to do well.
Nigel Smart in the centre of that pack. Ben Hart, he's playing very, very well. Quick hand pass comes out in the direction of Costa. He's caught by Adam Simpson, and that hand pass was given across by Welsh.
See Cameron Mooney on the ground too for his first run as well, number 19 for the Kangaroos.
And looks decidedly like his brother Jason. Looks like a twin almost.
Thank you, Ozzy. Centre wing. Jarman actually flew over the back. There's Anthony Stevens having a very good game into half forward. That's a good mark. Now it looks like Welsh has taken this. It is.
And he's a very strong mark. So he's a handy player, this boy. And we see Cameron Mooney on screen there. Does look very much like his brother playing down at Geelong.
So Scott Welsh, only a youngster, will kick. Well, he seems to think he can kick the distance, and he has to kick at 55 metres, which is a long kick for the drop punt. Let's see if he's as good as he's... Seems to be very caught, but that's a beautiful looking kick. That is a great kick for a goal.
Well, he's been a little bit off target this year. He had 3-8 coming into this game. But there he is with his first shot at goal, popping it through. So another great start by North Melbourne. 2 quick goals to start this second term in the first 4.5 minutes. They've banged on 2. So the forward line is working beautifully. The only downside, of course, is Corey McKernan leaving the field. Not quite certain with what the injury is, but it's a leg injury. But Scotty Welsh there on screen, just playing his 20th game of AFL football. And coming into this game, I know that Dennis Pagan has spoken about him lots of times as a very promising player.
15 career goals for Welsh, and 9 Kangaroos players have already kicked goals. That's a remarkable statistic so early in the match. It's going to be a free kick.
Well, that's 50 metres.
The Crows' way. Matthew Connell's going to take it. Former best and fairest, started on the bench today, but has played in their 2 premiership sides. Yes, the ball not given back.
But you've got to give it back on the full. Well, he gave it to his teammate, Matthew Capuano, instead of throwing it back to Connell.
Boys, with Corey McKernan, it seems as though it's his left hamstring. They're working previously on his left hamstring.
Well, that's, again, that's good news and bad news, isn't it, I suppose? Better than a knee. It didn't look too good when he landed. But Connell with the kick for the Crows' third. Goal umpire moves across because it's hit the post. So 1 behind.
Gee, it's an unusual way to do a hamstring, isn't it? It's normally on the stretch, on the sprint, that you do a hammy, but not in a marking contest.
King. Haven't seen too much of him today, but then again, the ball hasn't been down that end a lot. Mickey Martin. Just up from the left back pocket. Big pack of players. Bell robes it beautifully. Smart running with the fight of the ball. Harvey reads it best. Gets around James. Decides to centre it. Shannon Grant's there. Oh, he's quick. He's usually a good kick. What's he done with this one? No, put the mockers on him good and proper. It's out of bounds on the full. 60 points the margin. Yes, that's right. And we've still got 16 minutes left before half-time. So it's a free kick to Adelaide in the right back pocket.
There's Gary Durkay on the bench. Bassett is number 8. Nathan Bassett, a young defender. And a huge task for Adelaide now, 60 points behind. And I think North will be thinking back to that grand final. If only they had have kicked so straight early when they were very, very dominant and couldn't put Adelaide away, then Adelaide came back so brilliantly, Kev.
No, it reminded me a lot of the rumble in the jungle when Muhammad Ali was fighting George Foreman, and George Foreman just punched himself out, and that's how it looked with North Melbourne, I reckon, in that grand final. They were just punched out after half-time. They had that much of the play, but they just couldn't score enough on the scoreboard.
Robrin to Smart. Connell transfers play here. He's looking for Pittman. He gets a favourable bounce. It's David Pittman just gets his boot to it. In towards half-forward to Mark Stevens. He's got support from Burton, but the Kangaroos have got the defenders, and they've got the pace of David King here. And that's a long kick. He's looking for Winston Abraham. Eccles disciplined at the back. 25-metre punch. Tyson Edwards in hard after. McLeod, we haven't seen a lot of McLeod so far. There's a quick hand pass coming out. Now it's Connell. Back it comes to Robin. He can kick from 45 metres. Mickey Martin's in front. He dropped the mark. Oh, you've got to hold the mark. Gee, we've seen a lot of this lately.
Yeah, this goes through his hands here, and you can see he hits the turf.
Well, he definitely dropped it.
Laid it like an egg. McCartney in the right back pocket. He'll have to step up with McKernan off the ground. Richard Osmond tells us it's a hamstring injury. Blakey from the back. Might have been fringed down there on Goodwin. You better give it back, otherwise it'll be another 50. Umpire telling you where the mark is. Kicks to Eccles. That's beautifully delivered. That's a fine kick. Prosciutto marks. Not on 50, but right on the boundary line.
Well, he was moved to full forward at quarter time. Darren Jarman into the midfield, and Robin, of course, also moved into defence.
So Malcolm Blight swinging the side around completely to try to get some drive. As you can see there in the top left-hand corner, 60 points the margin, and we're not halfway through the second quarter. Prosciutto from 50 gives it a chance. It's on the ride. It's there. Good kick. Good goal.
Prices you can't go past on the multi-award-winning Mirage from $13,990. Lancer GLI Coupe $18,490 with air. And Lancer GLI Sedan $24,990 drive away with air. The Mitsubishi end of financial year sale now on.
Crows bench, Aussie.
Peter Caven, David Gallagher, Matty Golding and Mark Bickley.
So Mark Lasciuto has kicked his first. Pittman, quick hand pass to Jarman. Jarman a hurry kick. Oh, nearly a free kick against Mickey Martin then. McLeod receives from Stevens. Now Burton dodging and weaving. Burton a wobbly old kick. It was a poor kick. Martin Pike against Connell, and Pike drives it and gains about 35 metres round the boundary line. Adam Simpson, he gains about another 40. Jarman, probably appreciate betting back in the middle. It's a free kick to Jarman. Advantage paid though. James gets it to Mark Stevens. Stevens a wobbly kick to the half-forward line. Mick Martin punches it away to Byron Pickett. Mark Stevens is at the back. He can't mark. Brett James runs into a brick wall in the form of a couple of North players. And it'll be a bounce on centre wing.
5 free kicks to Adelaide this quarter. North Melbourne yet to have a free kick in their second term.
Bounce just outside the square after that scrimmage. 16 Capuano. 6 is Shannon Grant. 5 is Costa. 1 by Pittman though. Oh, Grant pinches it, beautifully done. Johnson's tackle late or ineffective. Bouncing ball. Mooney a chance in his first game. Smart's got him, hasn't got the footy. Scholl missed it. Now Bell. Tyson grabbed by Stevens, didn't have the football. Umpire lets it go. Ball up in the forward pocket.
That was magnificent play there by Anthony Stevens. He's just made something out of nothing there, and what they made was a ball up just 15 metres out from goal, and there's Corey McKernan being worked on.
Yeah, it looks like it's an actual lower back-related hamstring. Looked a bit proppy jogging around the boundary line, so at this stage, looks a bit sore.
Bassett, thanks, Aussie. Pickett takes the mark at half-forward. Clayton calling for it and will get it. Shane Clayton, the mark inside 50. Formerly of Fitzroy initially and then Brisbane. His father, of course, a former AFL umpire and former runner for the then Brisbane Bears when they played at Carrara. Kicks from right on 50. Misses to the left-hand side and registers a minor score. So 1 behind to Shane Clayton, his first score of the day. Gee, some stars on the sidelines today, boys.
Yes, the skipper there, Mark Bickley, went off early in that first quarter and told with a sprained ankle.
That's Simon Goodwin getting it to Andrew McLeod, to centre wing Jarman. Usually one of the great kicks in the competition. That's no exception because it's down at half forward with Eccles. Eccles hugging the boundary line, and the North defenders get back onto Tyson Edwards, and the ball is thumped over the line. And Mickey Martin's, there's no one better than that big thump, Kevin.
No, mighty Mick. He likes to punch the ball. He'll kick it off the ground. He'll headbutt it if he has to.
Oh, that's high. Shannon Grant against Matthew Connell. Grant, it doesn't muck around. Gives it to Pike. Pike kicks. Well, he's got a running player in King, and he is a runner. Will it sit for him? He's got it. David King brings it in towards the half-forward area. Nigel Smart in front. That's a mark. A very good mark on Craig Scholl. And a bit of pushing and shoving going on here. The umpire not getting excited, which is good. Nigel Smart, very important to the Crows when he's up and firing. He was one of the stars of the grand final too when he went to the forward line. Up to half forward. Oh, brilliant mark by Bassett. What's he doing down there? Just wonder if he's been moved up forward. Bassett in towards the full forward area. That's a good mark to Connell. A very good mark. And the North crowd, the Kangaroos crowd won't like it, but I would have paid it.
Mark anyway, wasn't it? Definitely a mark. No doubt about it being a mark. This is a very good mark, in fact. That's a clean mark. If the ball is jolted from your hands after you take a clean mark, and we see Archer making contact there, then it's still deemed a mark.
So Matthew Connell will kick from 30 metres. They need it, and they need plenty more because they're coming from a long way behind. 12-4 at the moment, playing 3-3.
Hasn't kicked a goal this year. He's only playing his second game for the season.
So Matthew Connell directly in front. Stabs this one low and kicks a goal.
Look at me! Mom, look at me! Mom, look at me! I'm going really fast! Mom, I'm going really, really fast! Super fast!
Anything's possible in football if they can maintain their momentum. That's the big if, Pete.
And I asked the question where he's playing. He's gone back to full back.
So Blighty throwing them around, trying to get some drive. Been a little bit better this quarter. Pittman can't break there. Costa nearly had his head taken off. He'll take the free kick for Adelaide. Kim Costa just wide of the circle. Looking around for options. Kicks it long. Bassett nearly. Tyson Edwards onto the right. Good snapshot. That's a goal. Great kick. So consecutive goals for Adelaide. 5-3 to 12-4. Things looking a little bit better. They're still a long way behind, though.
Some terrific running here from Bassett, Pete. You mentioned he was down at full back. He ran all the way down to create that option. And Tyson Edwards, of course, has pounced on it. But as I said before, I think the signs are looking a little bit better. They'd be hoping that they could chip away, maybe get another 2 or 3 goals this quarter and maybe go 4 goals down at the main break. There's still just over 10 minutes left, so plenty of time here for the Adelaide Crows to just work their way back into this game.
Well, Nathan Bassett's doing that running that Shane Allen did 2 years ago when he kicked those 5 goals, running from the back line down to try and kick a couple of goals and catch the opposition unaware. There's the kick from Capuano, taken by Jarman. A sweeping hand pass to Costa. He loses the ball in the tackle. Kane Johnson was caught a little bit high, I felt. It's shuffled out. Stevens has been in tip-top form. Here's McLeod. He's brought the ground, then drags it in, and the umpire will bounce it. 76 plays 33, but I agree with you, Kevin. A lot more positive signs for Adelaide at the moment as we see Corey McKernan having treatment on that back.
And he's a big loss, Corey McKernan, because he was playing well, and it just means it just unbalances North Melbourne a little bit. No Wayne Carey as well.
And Robrin got that out, but here's Peter Bell having a terrific game. Shannon Grant dodging and weaving. He's still got it. Still got it. He eventually loses it to Tyson Edwards onto Jarman. Jarman to McLeod, a bit of talent there. McLeod in towards half forward. Look at Archer attacking that football. Terrific play by Archer. Fantastic. The crowd applaud him as he gets the ball to Mickey Martin. Robin at the back. Peter Bell at the front. Connell, a lot more urgency about Adelaide's game now. Connell appealing for a free kick. Peter Bell a quick little give. In went Ben Hart. He's been good. And the umpire will come in and bounce on centre wing.
I think Peter Bell was too happy.
I think, Pete, that you made a good comment then. A bit more urgency now by the Adelaide Crows. Just trying to get a few more players around the ball, running a little bit harder, making more of a contest.
Pittman and Capuano. Stevens missed it. Blakey does it. Still got plenty of speed. Johnny Blakey, the former Lion, up the half forward. Marking contest. None can bring it down. Abraham. Winston goes at goal. And what's he done with it looks pretty good. Put on your glasses. It's a goal.
Tuesday, 8:30. Gary McDonald stars in All Saints.
He's refusing treatment.
He can't. A patient makes his own life and death decision.
Is this about you or me? We need to know if the cancer spread. I mean, you seem to think it's going to be some sort of picnic. Go on!
Can a doctor go too far to save a life?
The patient's going to be dead a hell of a lot sooner thanks to you.
An extraordinary episode where feelings surface.
Did anybody tell you how beautiful you are? I have to get drunk to tell you.
Tuesday, 8:30 on 7.
Pittman on the bench, and he limped off, which is bad news for Adelaide. Young Matthew Golding is on into the ruck. Capuano against Jarman. Peter Bell again, a hurry kick to the half-forward area. Big thump was by Bassett. Stevens, he's been in very good touch today. Desperate play by Shane Clayton. And he is tackled there by Kane Johnson at the 50-metre line. And Let's see who can get it out from here. But Peter Bell in scintillating form. What a pickup from there he is, from the Fremantle Dockers. Gee, they could do with him at the moment. Jarman again doing the ruck work. Hooked back by Anthony Stevens in the direction of the pocket. Oh, well kept in by Capuano, but waiting for it was Kim Costa, hugging the boundary line, and he's found Sean Hart. Ben Hart, I should say. Sean Hart, of course, played last night.
He did. And a couple of his kicks didn't exactly find their mark like that one didn't. Must be the name. Out of bounds on the full. Very disappointed with that. Now Simpson. Abraham got underneath it. Hart again. Looks for someone. That someone was Robran. Tried to burrow his way through. Costa to Smart. That's all right. He should be able to get away from this. Johnson kicks up towards Jarman, marking in front of Stevens. Long looping hand pass to James. James, a right centre wing, decides to centre it. McLeod on the end of it. This is better for Adelaide. McLeod down towards full forward. Now, is that a mark to Rashuto? Mickey Martin had a similar one. I think that one's been given the all clear by the umpire. It has.
Interesting to note too, Pete, every time Jarman gets the ball, the boos of the crowd, I suppose, fair enough too, because he's destroyed the dreams of 2 Victorian teams in the last 2 years in the grand final.
Tall poppy syndrome, Aussie.
Exactly. And this is good full forward play by Rashuto. I think you'd agree, Kev. The only way you'll beat Archer is to lead quickly on him. There's no fullback can stop those quick leads.
Well, McLeod also just popped it out in front, so he just ran onto the ball, didn't have to break stride. I think Rashuto at full forward is a very good move by Malcolm Blind.
Rashuto from 40. He hasn't kicked it like a defender. Straight as an arrow, it's a goal. So Rashuto gets his second. Here's opposition supporters. They boo Carey. They used to boo Greg Williams. You probably copped a bit of it, KB.
I don't think I was ever booed, Pete.
This guy's fantastic, isn't he, McLeod?
Rashuto is a great player, isn't he? He plays half-back flank, he plays midfield, he can take up a key position at full forward. And he's done his job this quarter. He's booted 2 goals, and all of a sudden he's just turned it around a little bit. Pittman's on the interchange bench. He's gone off with an injury. Mark Bickley's off with an injury. McKernan's off for North Melbourne with an injury. So far, this first half has been a game of attrition.
Sure has.
Golding, oh, it's tapped down by Capuano. Here's Harvey's very, very quick. Look at that. Good play, and he finds Scholl. Scholl is a huge kick. He's got a kick at about 70 metres, but he's gone the torpedo. It's a wobbly old one off the side of the boot, and Bassett couldn't get there before it beat him over the line.
Not the best of execution there, Pete. Probably yourself being one of the greatest exponents of the torpedo. Just doing it off one step's not the best way to go.
Never got balance.
I don't remember kicking too many torpedoes.
Drop punt man, weren't you?
An odd one, as we see Bassett. But thanks for that, Aussie. As we see Bassett to centre wing, pack of players flying for this one. That's a mark, Capuano.
I thought you were great at doing the place kick, Pete.
Just trying to give you a rap, Pete.
Wasn't that long ago. As we see Capuano into that half-forward corridor, mark. And that's taken by Craig Scholl, directly in front from 30 metres.
Well, he's been good today, hasn't he, Craig Scholl? 2 goals in that first quarter. Plenty of life on the forward line. Capuano, it's a bit lucky here. They sort of got pushed under the ball there, Hart did. And just landed in the lap of Craig Scholl.
So Craig Scholl for his 3rd of the game. He's a great kick, and that's no exception. It's a goal.
Well, North Melbourne answering all the challenges so far from Adelaide. Kangaroos have booted 4 goals this quarter, and so has the Crows. So far, they've been able to just hold this lead, this 49-point lead, which they went into at quarter time. So 39 plays 88. So again, it's a 49-point lead. So little has changed. We've had a lot of action, but little has changed on the scoreboard.
Corey McKernan up and running again, so that's a good sign. 14-4 to 6-3 in the closing stages of the second quarter. Tyson couldn't get clear. The ball shuffled back to Shannon Grant. Grant up towards half forward. Welsh and Hart. Still a foot race. Hart gets there first. Well done. Eccles. Fickle bounce for him. Tyson comes in for the assist, but he ignores him and goes straight past over the head of Abraham. Johnson. Onto Jarman. Stevens is there in front of him. Jarman has to lob it high. Oh, what a kick from Jarman! Wow! Might be a free kick, though. Or is it a goal?
It'll be a goal, I think.
If it wasn't a goal, might be
only shepherding.
another one.
Goal, is it? I think it's a goal.
Well, they've both got a sense of theatre here. The third umpire, Mickey Martin, comes in. Now, they're saying, did it hit the post?
Is that the question? Goal.
It's a goal. Great kick. Fantastic kick. Even Mickey Martin has a wry smile.
Let's have
take
a look at the
it.
replay. There's Eccles just getting the ball across to Kane Johnson, who goes pretty short here to Jarman.
Great kick.
And we see him on the turn. Now let's just watch for the goalpost. There was the push.
So
would have been a free
might
kick
have been
here
a free kick to
Burton.
Burton, yeah.
So there's the push. I can't see it hitting the post.
No,
That's what I said what they're
goal.
arguing about.
Magnificent kick. Well, he's the best kick in the competition. He and Buckley, I suppose.
Jarman gets his first goal, and close to half-time. We've got just under 4 minutes remaining.
Well, here's a free kick to the Kangaroos. Will go to Brent Harvey. The lead is on. And I thought I was seeing things for a minute. I looked up and saw Archer down there and thought, what's he doing down there? He pulled back a moment ago.
We played on Jarman in the first quarter at that end of the ground, didn't he?
Look at the strength, though. Bassett was just left on lying on the ground purely and simply because of the strength of this great player. So Glenn Archer, he can do it anywhere. He's not all that tall, but he's tough and hard and talented. From directly in front, he's goal.
The 11th Kangaroo to score a goal today.
Yes, he's a mighty player, no doubt about that. He's just signed a new 3-year contract with the Kangaroos. You see Harvey. There's moving the ball quickly, and Bassett just going to ground there with a little bit of body contact from Glenn Archer, who was on Risciuto. They've moved Mickey Martin back to full-back to play on Risciuto, so why not put Archer to full forward?
11 Kangaroos players scoring goals, 3 minutes before half-time. Back to the centre. Capuano wins it. The kick away from Harvey. Abraham's there, and we welcome viewers in New South Wales and Queensland to our telecast, and you can see the score in the top left-hand corner. It's an absolute pumping, like that bump, with the Kangaroos getting some sort of revenge for their loss in the grand final last year. Simpson will give you a little bit of an update on stats and goal kickers shortly, but Costa trying to put Adelaide into attack, which he does up towards half-forward. Connell has taken the mark. Former best and fairest winner in the Adelaide Crows. The Kangaroos kicked the 4th highest score ever in the first quarter here at the MCG. They registered 10 goals 3 to 2 goals 2 and led by 49 points at the first change. They now have 11 goal kickers. Mark Risciuto is leading the Crows goal kickers today with 2. Craig Scholl has 3 for North Melbourne. Bell 2 for the Kangaroos. So 2 to Shannon Grant. Throw in right next to the behind post. Chance for Eccles. Pike was there. It missed him. Clayton reads it well. Stevens marks it well, short of right half-back.
Anthony Stevens has been exceptional in this game. He's had 9 kicks, 5 marks, a couple of handballs. Nigel Smart, almost. Taken away by Scholl. He kicks to a one-on-one. Archer's in front. Knocked away by Bassett. Off the ground by Harvey. He's very quick, but the Crows players are there in numbers. Jarman's one of them. Did that very, very well to get it across to Brett James. A dangerous kick. Finds Connell. Now, Connell's at about centre-half back area. Transfers play to Robran, who's been pretty quiet. Matthew Robran. Now, he's got a loose man here. He can chip it over. He's looking for McLeod. He's got some support here from Mark Stevens. He goes further afield to McLeod. McLeod way out on centre wing. The Crows drive it forward. Mickey Martin. Oh, shooter, what a mark! Fantastic. Oh, he went up. He just hung anywhere in the air against Mighty. McMartin has taken a ripper.
Well, this is one of the great marks of the year. He's come in from the side. He's then taken up a front side-on position. And you can see his knee there on the top of the shoulder of Mick Martin. And he's taken one of the best marks we've seen this year.
Well, he actually went early, and he hung there, kept his eyes on it, and hugged it to his chest, but he was up on Mighty Mick Martin's shoulders. Let's hope he can cap it off with a goal after that sensational mark. He drives a goal right through the middle. What a goal, what a mark.
Well, he's kicked 3 goals in this quarter, Mark Rasciuto, when he was moved to full forward by Malcolm Blight at the start of the second term. And he has taken some marks on the lead, but that is one of the great marks of Australian rules football. Jumping early, just suspending himself in the air, just resting the foot right on the shoulder there, keeping his eyes on the ball, but more importantly, just finishing off with this great kick. So the Crows, they still won't go away. It's been a great first half by North Melbourne, but they lead by 43 points. They lead by 49 at quarter time, but there's still a lot of action left in this game. We see Bickley and Pittman on the interchange bench there, both injured.
Less than a minute to go. Stevens, I'll tell you now, Kev, if a mark beats that for mark of the year, it will be absolutely sensational. Hart kicks to Tyson. That was as good as Abraham's last year, and that one mark of the year. Jarman up towards the ball. Oh, there he is again. He tried it back foot.
I think he heard you, Pete. I thought, I'll have another crack at this.
Have another go. Look at this. Oh,
almost like a trip down memory lane, boys. Brings back memories of the great Alex Jezelenko.
Yep. I thought you were going to say Richard Osborne.
Yes, so did I. I thought you were going to wrap yourself up then, Ozzy.
No, I never, ever got that high. I wish.
You took a couple like that, didn't you, Pete?
No, I kept my feet on Mother Earth. It was safer.
I saw KB give a hand pass one day.
I was lucky to take one of those marks a game.
It was a mirage. Rasciuto missed it this time. McCartney goes for the boundary line. Don't think he's going to quite get it there. It's shuffled over the line now in front of our commentary position by Shannon Grant. Costa right behind him. What a half of football. We've seen the mark of the year, I'd reckon, and a record-breaking score by the Kangaroos against the Crows. They booted 10-3, and as I mentioned earlier, that was the 4th highest ever, or equal 4th highest ever score by any side in the first quarter here at the MCG, kicking 10-3 to 2-2, leading by 49 points. They've got the Crows on a plate at the moment, you would reckon, especially with Mark Bickley on crutches. Against that, of course, Corey McKernan has also been injured. He's been taken off. So the attrition rate, as you said, Kevin, has been pretty high in the first half, hasn't it?
It has, and we can see Corey McKernan there. I'm not quite certain. I mean, I don't think this game is over. I think Adelaide's starting to play some very good football. North Melbourne matched them in that second quarter. It's after half-time now. We see Malcolm Blight there along with John Reid just looking at the situation. But I think we're in for a terrific second half, even though North Melbourne lead by 43 points at the main break. But I think we're in for a terrific second half, even though North Melbourne lead by 43 points at the main break.
Kevin Bartlett says the Kangaroos, they're not over the line yet, because we remember the 1970 grand final when Carlton came back from 44 points behind and still won the game. What's going to happen here? 2 quarters left, but it has been a fantastic game so far. Plenty of goal scoring. Let's see some highlights of the first 2 terms.
Flipped over the back. Young Gallagher gets in a quick hand pass, but North have got it. There's the pace of Harvey. Has a bounce. He can go over the top. He does so. Peter Bell racing in. He stops it low and he has kicked his second. Thumped away. Here's little Peter Bell again. He's doing very, very well. Shannon Grant on the left. Bends it back. He's kicked the goal.
Kicks inside 50 again, a 2-on-2 contest. Bassett might go off the ground. He can't. Scholl snaps for his second. It bounces and bounces through.
Now, McLeod down towards the half-forward line. Archer on Jarman. I think that's a very, very good matchup. Capuano went in. Now Archer. Now Shannon Grant. They're up and running again. John Blakey. He kicked 3 goals last week. He can kick another one from 40 metres right through the middle.
Exactly halfway through the first quarter, 6-2 to 1 behind, and that one behind from the Crows was a rush behind. Tyson onto McLeod. McLeod, the dual Norm Smith medalist. Can he get the Crows' first goal? He has!
Kicks on the left. Now, the bounce is important here. It's going to go the way of Harvey. He gets it to Rawlings. It's another goal to the Kangaroos.
Kicks it long. Bassett nearly. Tyson Edwards onto the right. Good snapshot. That's a goal. Great kick. Pittman and Capuano. Stevens missed it. Blakey does it. Still got plenty of speed. Johnny Blakey, the former Lion, up to half forward. Marking contest. None can bring it down. Abraham. Winston goes at goal. And what's he done with it? Looks pretty good. To Smart. That's all right. He should be able to get away from this. Johnson kicks up towards Jarman. Marking in front of Stevens. Long looping hand pass to James. James, a right centre wing, decides to centre it. McLeod on the end of it. This is better for Adelaide. McLeod down towards full forward. Now, is that a mark to Rasciuto?
I think Rasciuto at full forward is a very good move by Malcolm Blind.
Rasciuto from 40. He hasn't kicked it like a defender. Straight as an arrow, it's a goal. On to Jarman. Stevens is there in front of him. Jarman has to lob it high. Oh, what a kick from Jarman! Wow!
The Crows drive it forward. Mickey Martin.
Oh, Rasciuto, what a mark! Fantastic.
Oh, he went up. He just hung there in the air against Mighty McMartin and taken a ripper.
Mark of the year, you reckon? Well, it's a magnificent mark by Mark Rasciuto. I know that you likened it to Winston Abraham last year, and also Jeff Farmer took a ripper last year. Don't forget, Pete.
Bloke had number 25 for Carlton, took a few like
that.
Yeah,
Alex Jesselenko. I took a great chest mark here at the MCG one day. It was an absolute ripper. I must show you the video of it one day, Pete. But it was a great mark, and a great goal also there by Darren Jarman. And even though they're down by 43 points, so I think there's some good signs there for Adelaide. We might be in for a fantastic second half. North Melbourne really have dominated the game. You can see with the kicks have led there. Although the Crows got back in with some handball in that second term. Tackles, well, 11-9, pretty much even. And you can see the rest of the stats there, not much between the two sides. But North Melbourne is a side that wastes very few opportunities. They're a long kicking side. I know at one stage in that second term they had 78 kicks for the quarter, and 51 of them were deemed as long kicks into the forward line.
We've still got to go.
We've still got a great game on our hands.
Good on your KB match stats for Mitsubishi. All right, every game, every club, every week. That's Name a Game. No commercial breaks, the whole game, and nothing but. So if you fancy a game this week or last week, that's the number to call, 1-800-035-065 for Name a Game, and settle down in your armchair and watch some great footy action. You might even see KB give a hand pass if you get the right game. Don't think so, though. We'll take a break from the MCG, back in just a moment. For Adelaide, and what a screamer he took in that second quarter. And speaking of marks, let's check on the Cadbury marks of the week.
Nix at half back. Oh!
Wow! A lot with a screamer!
Gets underneath it. It's going to not quite make it. He's got it under post. It's a great mark, but where were the Swans?
Well, Andrew Dunkley was going up with a big fly himself, and he just let his opponent.
Infield comes to Tyson.
Beautiful mark by Brett Burton.
He's going to be one of those great players to watch, Brett Burton.
And Bowden a chance to kick Richmond away from their full-back line.
Burke the target, spectacular mark. Took off early and held his ground. He and Beaumont having a good duel early. Beaumont's had a bit of it as well. Burke's kicked the centre wing. Richardson's had a bit of a cooter so far.
Joel Bowden goes long. Offline. Is that a mark? Might be over the line, out of bounds, is it?
No, the boundary umpire doesn't want to know.
Play on, a goal. A goal. If that's allowed to be play on, it is. It's a goal.
Well done, Stephen Phoebe. Up to Ox territory, but he's taken another screamer, and that's Troy Longmuir. Took a beauty in the first quarter.
Zilla drives it up towards the wing. How's that for a mark? Low. He was about fourth man in the queue.
Certainly some great grabs there. It's a real marking segment, isn't it? Because let's go back some 8 years now for our Mitsubishi moment, and it features Brett Allison.
Allison.
It is football at its most sublime, to take the classic mark. For Brett Allison, this was that moment. Less than 30,000 at the MCG that Saturday afternoon, and Brett Allison found himself in the right place at the right time.
Wayne Swaff sort of raved a pack, and just kicked it long straight back into the forward line. I looked around, I was the only one in the region, so I thought I've got to try and get it to ground, and the rest is sort of history.
Underneath Ellison, as he took one of the marks of the 90s, Collingwood's Gavin Krasiska.
He was standing in front of me, probably 4 or 5 metres in front of me, and you know, I had to sit on him the whole way, and things worked out for me.
Brett Ellison, another Mitsubishi memorable moment.
That certainly was a great grab back in 1991. We'll take a break. 43 points in favour of the Kangaroos at half-time, the second half shortly.
Whip up a wicked chocolate dessert.
Something so quick and simple. They don't look half bad, do they?
And gardening shortcuts to decrease the work and increase the pleasure.
Get the most out of your garden for the least amount of time.
Better Homes and Gardens at 7:30. Then at 8, trying to...
3 points the difference at half-time. Both teams back onto the ground now for the resumption of play. North Melbourne leading by 49 at quarter-time, so the Crows picked up 1 goal. During that quarter, the attrition rate, as we have been mentioning, is high. There's a man the Roos would like to see back in their side. I'm sure he'll be back next week, though. Let's go down to the boundary line, Aussie.
Well, the Crows certainly showed a bit of character in that quarter, kicking 6 goals, but it's a bit tough when you're 8 goals down at quarter time. As you mentioned, Pete, they've only eaten into the lead by 1 goal, still down by 7, so it's going to be tough, but they are a team with class, the reigning back-to-back premiers, so good luck to them in the second half.
Thanks, Aussie. And there's Corey McKernan. Good signs for North Melbourne, good signs for him, I guess. We saw him late in that second quarter running around the boundary line after he limped off. Let's take a look at some of the team stats now. KB and Pete run through these for us. First of all, the Kangaroos.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that Grant and Bell and Harvey have been very, very good players, and throwing Anthony Stevens as well. We talked about it earlier, and of course clearances from centre bounces, throw-in and ball-ups. Kangaroos 29 to 18 in that first half, so quite a difference there. And those 4 players that head the stat sheet there have been very, very important players. And if we have a look at Adelaide, Risciuto there went to full forward, booted 3 goals, maybe has taken the mark of the year. McLeod started to work into the game. They moved Jarman into the centre square at quarter time. Hart's been the consummate defender, and Connell, of course, also took a very strong mark and kicked a very important goal. So a few of their players just starting to touch the ball in that second quarter, and if they can pick up maybe 3 or 4 goals on the Kangaroos in this third term, and I think that's the way they'd be thinking, then they'll be looking at maybe a bit of an onslaught in that final quarter if they are to get up and beat the Kangaroos.
This has got to be their quarter.
They've got to pick up 3 or 4 goals in this third term.
Give themselves a little bit of a chance. If they're 5 behind at three-quarter time, Pete, you think maybe, don't you?
Yeah, well, they have a history of coming home hard in the second half. They're a very talented side. You've got Jarman, you've got McLeod, and you've got Nigel Smart, so there's plenty of talent there to come back.
And let's not forget, I suppose, the Crows may have been reminded of it. North Melbourne supporters probably don't like being reminded, but against Geelong they led by 8 goals. Against Sydney they led by 8 goals, and they lost both those games.
43 points the margin as we begin the second half. Capuano starts in the ruck for the Roos and Pittman for the Crows. They both jumped early. Neither got a touch. Comes down to Rawlings, one of the rookies in the Roos lineup. Archer couldn't complete it. Tyson went without it. Goodwin charges in. Abraham, already a goal kicker. Outside 50, goes short. Harvey a juggle on his bike quickly. 30 metres out, bang, and puts it through.
Well, that is a fantastic start, because the game's been going 35 seconds and already a goal on the board to North Melbourne. And we mentioned, just looking at the stats, looking at Harvey there on the stat sheet as well before, mentioning his work with Grant and also Peter Bell. And straight away there's Archer, tacked the ball very, very hard. It's where Archer is fantastic. Look, creating that handball out there to Abraham, who was able to chip this short, because it all opened up here for Brent Harvey. He could have gone over the top and elected to just pop it through himself. So that's the start that Adelaide didn't want.
So centre bounce again. Both ruckmen went very, very early. Tyson hooks it back in the vicinity of the half-forward area. That's a good mark to Burton. Terrific mark to young Brett Burton. Well, I said before the game, one day he'll take the mark of the century because he's got a huge leap.
He has taken some good grabs in his very, very short career at the moment, just playing his 7th game for the Adelaide Crows. I did see him not finish off his work a few weeks back after he took a couple of good marks, so it's important that he converts.
So Brett Burton from directly in front, 45 metres out. Oh, he's not going to make the distance. Mick Martin was there to thump it away. Tyson Edwards can't get his boot to it. Robert Scott kicks into the man coming towards him, but Rawlings is there. Keeps it in. Good play by Rawlings. Desperate play to Pike. Now King around the boundary line. Archer gets a cruel bounce, but it rolls over the line. Now the Adelaide bench, Aussie.
Caven, Gallagher, Golding and Bickley.
Thank you, Richard. Centre wing, 100 plays 51. Let's see if Adelaide can fight back. Pittman at the back against Capuano. Jarman trying to crash his way through the pack. And the umpire will come in and bounce.
Peter, actually tell a lie. Caven just came onto the ground for Tyson.
Yes, Tyson off, Caven on. And Caven has been a terrific player. Former Fitzroy player, of course. Capuano flicking it over the back to Stevens. Stevens has been very, very good with his bullocking style. Was that a push out? Umpire said no. Grant, centre of the ground, Shannon Grant. He gives it off to Stevens. Stevens drives to half-forward. Scholl marks now. This is within kicking distance for Scholl. He is a huge kick. Now this, I'd say the player on the mark should be back inside 50.
Well, Bassett's done well, because he's crept outside of 50.
Well, I still think he'll make the distance here, Craig Scholl. He's a huge... Oh, he hasn't quite got onto that. It's a wobbly one to the goal square. Socket away and taken by Ben Hart. Oh, that was nearly a goal to Archer. I think he's kicked this.
Archer might have just kicked it out of his hands on the ground. He has.
Ben Hart. Ben Hart should have put that one through. He's still... I don't know whether Archer got his foot to that.
Well, he sort of put his hands on the ball. This will be very interesting to see here, because let's have a look here where Smart taps the ball onto Ben Hart. Now, it goes to ground. He's got his hands there. Gee, I think he missed it.
He missed it.
In fact, we may even see it again, but for mine, Glenn Archer missed it.
On replay, it looked like it was an airy. 17-4 to 8-3, 106 to 51. The goal gets credited to Archer nonetheless. Jarman tries to get out of the congestion. McLeod can. That's a good kick. Up towards half forward. The ball bounces, well, in favour of the Roos. King. Burton had to sit and wait for it. Didn't come his way. Costa and Grant. Grant with a good fist away. Pick it off! Bang! Crash! Wallop!
Oh, that's holding the ball, surely.
Could have been taken high, too. Stevens back to Pike. Grant again in front of Costa. Good diving mark at right half forward.
When you take on your two blokes and get caught, that's holding the ball, surely.
His prior opportunity is there. Grant short of right half forward. They come from everywhere. Abraham gets ridden into the ground by Connell. Goodwin. Quick kick to centre wing. Stevens. A little bit too slick for Grant on that occasion. Costa for McLeod. The advantage is paid to the Crows. Burton from Woodville and West Torrens. Needs to be quick, Brett. Not as quick as he would have liked to have been. Up towards the full forward line now. Robran takes the hand pass. Has a ping at the goals. He has missed and registered one behind. That hand pass came from Stevens. Pittman goes off.
Last week I saw a similar incident then.
Let's have a look at this goal.
Robin played on from an advantage decision and went through for a point. Last week they fought it back, so what's the story there?
Well, that came off Glenn Archer's hands.
Yes.
The last point of contact was Glenn Archer's hand, so that's not a goal.
He put it over the line, almost like a try. So Pickett brings the ball back. Good long kick. Harvey. Welsh. Good tackle by Costa. Ball jarred free initially, then he grabs it in again. A stalemate, and it's going to be a ball up on centre wing. Aussie for the Roos bench.
We've got Gary Durkay, Cameron Mooney, Shane Clayton and Corey McKernan.
There's Cameron Mooney in the middle of that pack. So the bounce will take place way out at half forward for the Adelaide Crows, and they really need something in a hurry. There's Golding. Did it well. That might be in the back. It is in the back. Once you ride a bloke into the ground, 9 times out of 10, Kevin, they pay it in the back.
Well, this is in the back. This is a correct decision.
So Kane Johnson drives to half forward. Oh, McCartney flew high and the big fist away. Anthony Stevens went without it. Quick hand pass came out to Rawlings. Pike. King. He tried to beat Tyson Edward Pike. Beautiful hand pass. Back to McCartney. Kicks wide. Oh, Caven nearly collided with Welsh.
So it's a Tony Lockett collision there, wasn't it, almost?
I don't think Peter Caven wants to be reminded of that famous clash. There he is. He's been a great player for Adelaide. Terrific pickup. Golding beaten to it. Oh, it's shoved out by Shannon Grant. On the bell. Archer will fly from the side. He attacked that ball very hard. Smart goes to ground. Here's Stevens. The Kangaroos. That's a great kick to Scholl. Tremendous kick by Stevens. Long and with plenty of depth and an easy mark to Scholl.
What we saw again there, boys, was Dennis Pagan's paddock. There was no one other than Craig Scholl in the forward 50. As the ball came down, he ran over the top of it and took an easy chest mark.
Yes, it was a very good kick also. They do set it up well. You've still got to be able to finish by kicking the ball so the player can run on the ball, particularly if he doesn't have to break stride, which Scholl didn't have to do then. So he's going for his 4th goal.
Well, he's a great kick normally. He's directly in front, very balanced and splits the middle.
On Today Tonight, workers fight back. Employees claim their company traps their customers.
What am I doing to these poor people?
Now, they are blowing the whistle.
They don't care what they do or who they hurt.
After they were ripped off by their boss who wouldn't pay them.
Rip people off all the time.
Plus, we burned down a house. How a family can escape alive. And those Millennium Bub pregnancy tests. We reveal the new mums in the race. This week on 7.
Well, furrowed brows up in the Adelaide coach's box. Terry Moore and Malcolm Blight. Terry Moore's famous for a marking picture too, underneath Michael Roach, wasn't he, KB?
He was, and only one other Richmond player in that famous mark. Have a look in the right-hand corner.
A little rover snooping around where was there?
Yes, and I was screaming out to Michael Roach to handball it. I think he went back and had a shot, which probably proves he's one of the most selfish players ever to play the game.
Bounce at the centre. Smart attacks it. Goes off the ground. Fickle bounce. Didn't do Cottle much good. Burton to Robran. Pike chips in. Intended for Bell, I think, but King takes it nonetheless. King up towards the circle. Now the mark taken by Kane Johnson. Looking for options across half forward. Not much on offer. Goodwin. He only travelled about 15 to 20 metres. Crows needed to get the first few goals. It's gone the other way with the Kangaroos getting them. Big marking contest right inside 50, and Robin's got the mark.
Well, believe it or not, I think the umpire is dead right here. What did you think, Kevin? I thought the Adelaide guy had it.
Well, let's see if the picture tells the story. Yes. Strong grab there by Matthew Robin.
The Kangaroo supporters have seen the replay on the big screen and don't agree.
Well, I think Robin certainly had the most purchase on that ball, no doubt.
I agree.
So he's a thumping kick. He'll get the distance. Right on 50, Robin.
That's a good kick.
That's a beautiful kick. Never in doubt. Robin gets his first.
How does it happen? You're racing a fuse or printing the news, and you strain till you think that you'll burst. You sure got a thirst. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer, and the best cold beer is Victoria Bitter. It can come at any time. You're taking a vow or chasing a cow. Matter of fact, I got it now. Victoria Bitter.
Badly needed goal to Adelaide through Matthew Robin. A very good umpiring decision too. Now, the umpire's called holding the ball. Gee, that was sudden death too. And we'll go to Brent Harvey. Let's see, picked it up. Bang. Oh, that is tough.
That is not a free kick.
That is not a free either. Scholl's marked 20 metres out. I don't know about some of these umpiring decisions, but you've got to give the guy a chance to get rid of it. But Scholl's doing particularly well up here in front of goal.
Well, the terminology is a good one. Prior opportunity, and of course, Goodwin had no prior opportunity. He's just had his momentum at gathering the ball. No chance really to make up his mind whether he could handball it or kick it. Scholl's going for his 5th goal, and if he's had his kicking boot on today, you would expect him to kick it.
Well, he's a very relaxed kick. Look at that. He just takes his time, bang. 5 goals to Craig Scholl, and you cannot even give him 5 kicks anywhere near goal, Scholl, because he would kick at a remarkably accurate conversion rate.
Well, it's ironic, isn't it, that North Melbourne kicked themselves out of the grand final last year with poor goal kicking, and here they are today playing in the rematch against Adelaide, and they've kicked 19 goals for. I know that Dennis Pagan says he's never watched the grand final from last year, but don't blame him. I wish that he would wish, I would say, that this accuracy that they're displaying today was to the forefront last year.
Difference out to 10 goals. Golding got it down, but that's as far as it's going. Blakey from Pickett. Their disposal has been absolutely exceptional today, North Melbourne. Simpson to half forward. They come from all directions again. Harvey twisting and turning, kicked into McLeod. Stevens tries to wrap it up.
And you can see Brent Harvey down there. His father was a great player in the Diamond Valley here, Pete. And his name, Neil Harvey, but not the famous cricketer.
Not the famous cricketer. I was going to say a great, the greatest left-handed number 3 we've had for Australia.
10 uncontested marks for North Melbourne, inside 50. For the Crows, just 2.
Punch away by Golding, on to Costa, confronted by Abraham. Eccles in the right back pocket. Kicks to a contest. Bell. Past Abraham. Good contest there provided by Pickett at that ball. Got it to the little rover there who started in fine fettle at the opening quarter with a couple of goals, Peter Bell. He set them on the road.
Great spoil there by Byron Pickett. And, as we speak, Corey McKernan's just put his tracksuit pants on, so being 10 goals up, I don't think they'll risk the boy now.
Can't argue with that. Aussie Eccles marks in the right back pocket. Youngster from the Preston or Northern Knights here in Victoria. Actually won their best and fairest one here, I think.
They've been coached by Keithy Burns for years, former Collingwood star.
Good bloke, Keith.
Yes, and good coach.
Goodwin. Goodwin up towards right half forward. Pike with the big fist. Thumped by McCartney. Doesn't find the boundary line. James, oh, what a tackle. Sensational grab. When I say a grab, a tackle from Pickett that never would have been proud of. Look at this.
Well, he won the Norwich Rising Star last year, and did he wrap his arms around James here? There was plenty of vigour in that tackle. And he's famous for that, isn't he, Byron Pickett? His ability to really hit the opponent hard.
Well, there's Matt Connell kicking it down towards half-forward. Tyson Edwards. Gee, that was good play. Again, some strong tackling. Good kick. Oh, well, Bassett, a quick kick. Now, we interviewed, Drew Morford and I interviewed on game day Wayne Carey before the game, and he said he's got no doubt Byron Pickett is capable of winning a Brownlow medal. So that's a pretty big rap from Carey. There's Blakey receiving from Robert Scott. On the McCartney, he'd be enjoying this against his former club. Winston Abraham from the side, couldn't take the mark. Here's McLeod. Ben Hart, a little bit of talent there between those two. Here's Simon Goodwin, he's off and running. Onto the left, drives it long, hoping someone can take a mark. Burton is there against King. Good little tap back there from Scott. Now a chance for Rashuto, who took the mark of the year, maybe. Oh, good mark, Jarman. And Adam Simpson trying to say it came off Jarman's teammate,
Burton. So let's have a look at this, because like they both nearly raffled this, but nope. Clean mark there to Jarman.
So Darren Jarman, who towards the end of the second term kicked a sensational goal from the boundary, 55 metres out on the run. This one directly in front, 30 metres out, nicely balanced as he comes in, stabs at it and kicks it.
Here's a couple who bought a renovator's delight. While they're proud of the breakthrough they made,
Put in some French doors and then pave the courtyard
not
out there.
everybody shares their vision. And here's the Mitre 10 specialist.
Let's start with Accent. It's good value, it's our own brand, great range of colours.
From the store that understands it's not just the low price, it's getting the right advice that really saves you money.
You can see it, can't you, darling?
Yeah, it'll come.
Jarman, one of only 2 multiple goal kickers for the Crows. Mark Rashuto has 3, all of those coming in the first half. Gary Durkay back on, that's good news for the Roos. He limped off before. In fact, very early in the game, Bell Big punch away by Hart. Ruse galore. Johnson trying to get clear, but he's not going anywhere, all wrapped up in the tackle. And David Howard is going to bounce it. Just outside the North Melbourne 50-metre line. North Melbourne, 2 bob in the box. The Kangaroos 50-metre line. Golding, a chance. Hand pass was smothered. Blakey got it back. Hart's in the road. Hart over the top. Opportunity for Eccles. Paddles the ball to his advantage. The hand pass is okay. Onto Connell. Connell towards right half forward. And the mark is taken by Johnson. In fact, it's Burton. Rasciuto and Martin. Neither can bring it down. Rue, they say. Edwards.
Oh, you're gone, Tyson.
No, the umpire says no. And it's shuffled over the line. Put a rush behind. Mick having plenty to say. Let's see how Edwards was caught. Once, twice. Well, the ball actually jarred three in the first tackle, I think, KB, wasn't it?
Look, that was a real line ball there, whether he should have been pinged for holding the ball. He had a little bit of prior opportunity. Elected to try, had enough time to put his arm up to protect himself. But I think a ball up in the end Eccles been the best decision.
The Bell Academy Award job from Shannon Grant, looking for the free kick, or 50 metres. 50 metres probably, because he had the mark. Good mark. Robran, a little bit too tall, gives it to Ben Hart.
Yes, good play that. Ben Hart kicks long, should be a Crows mark, and it is to Matthew Connell. As David King just slipped over slightly. And Connell, centre wing, long way out from goal. Probably should be heading towards centre half forward area here to put a bit of pressure on. That's a better kick right down that centre corridor. Hope someone can take the mark. Good trap there by Goodwin. That was well done, and a quick kick from a standing start. Jarman did well. Good use of the body, Jarman. And that was fair. That was just sheer strength.
And sheer class too, Pete. Because this was a floating ball, and he just got rid of his opponent there. And Grant. I know the Kangaroo supporters aren't very happy.
Well, they see it up on the screen, the replay on the big screen here at the MCG, and you can hear that delayed reaction. But Darren Jarman going for goal number 3. He runs in and puts it through. 2 in this quarter.
Taking Dr. Elliott. Oh, wow.
Hi. Listen, I'm really sorry about what happened. Is there anything I can do to help get your car back on the road?
Well, with Amy, they're taking care of everything.
Quotes?
Done.
Repairs?
Done.
Good quality?
Guaranteed for the life of the car, even if I sell it.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess you don't need me then. Have a nice day.
A free service that takes care of all your post-crash running around. Call Amy now.
Darren Jarman joining Mark Rasciuto as the leading goal kicker for the Crows so far with 3, 19-5 to 11-5. 8 goals is the margin. That's 48 points. It was 49 at quarter time, so the first quarter will cost Adelaide the game, you'd reckon. They've gone kick for kick virtually since then. But you can't afford to give starts to a side like the Roos. David Howard to bounce it again. All in for this one. Robran's there, Golding, Capuano. Won by Golding. Gets it to Jarman. Good hand pass. Connell on the end of it. Burton taken out of that contest by King. Slaps it to the front to his own advantage. Simpson onto Pike. Over the top. They share it around.
Oh.
Good tap by King. Back to Pike. Pike off a step. Kicks towards left half forward. Hart tried for the Specky. Scholl was there. Archer. Hand pass went astray. Oh, Abraham too high the tackle. Crash.
Yeah, he's got the kick. He's dangerous within 55 too.
Well, you can see there is caught high, so the free kick certainly has to be paid. Smart just dumped him.
Kick 1 goal, Winston.
Here's a very good kick. That's one of the things that he's brought to North Melbourne is his kicking ability. He's kicked 14 goals for the year. So one would think on that sort of average, he'll go very close.
Kicks from outside 50, gives it a decent ride. Beautiful kick, never in doubt.
John Travolta and Robert Duvall in the TV premiere
Tell me what's happening.
I don't know. Phenomenon. Tonight, 8:30. And on Monday night.
Hey, Georgia.
Who would have guessed that Georgia could turn around and cheat on Billy? A don't-miss episode of Ally McBeal, Monday at 8:30. Then, on Tuesday night in All Saints, can a doctor go too far to save a life?
Go on!
An emotional episode of All Saints, Tuesday night, 8:30 on 7.
Well, we've got two of the best kicks in the competition playing in this game, and that's Winston Abraham and, of course, Darren Jarman. And there, speaking of Jarman, that was him kicking it. This is Byron Pickett taking the mark.
The future Brownlow medalist.
Well, Wayne Carey said he is good enough, and I wouldn't argue with him from what I've seen in his couple of years at North. That was Shannon Grant trying to barge his way through the pack. He's picking up a bit of form, Kev.
Shannon Grant's been very good today. He started the game off in fantastic style in that first quarter, along with Peter Bell and Anthony Stevens. He's had it 21 times, and he's kicked 2 goals, so it just goes to show the impact he's had on this game.
Here's Connell. He got caught high.
Might get 50 there.
And no, the umpire...
Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, benefit. Maybe Durkay didn't hear the whistle. Matthew Connell, he's trying hard. He's had a pretty good quarter. Hart's been good, as usual. Very talented player, Hart, now. This is Kane Johnson, stabbing it low. Caven, again a low kick into Burton. Maybe if he had have turned around quickly, could have played on. Now, he kicked a very ordinary kick before from a similar distance. It didn't make the distance, so see if he can kick any better here.
Probably not a smart, smart move not to play on there, knowing that David Kim was going to run him down, perhaps.
Yeah, thank you, Ozzy. And Brett Burton, they could do with a couple more quick goals. There's the kick. Gee, that looks pretty good off the boot. It's starting to swing away.
Post up.
And it just hits the post. No bad luck to young Brett Burton. So that start that Adelaide gave the Kangaroos, Kevin, well, you just can't give a side like that such a big start.
49 points, particularly when it's a rematch of last year's grand final, so we've got two of the best sides in the competition. It was an amazing opening quarter by North Melbourne, but so far the game's been pretty even since then, but North Melbourne not giving up this lead easily.
Caven's hand pass is okay onto James. Johnson was the flyer, couldn't drag it down. In fact, it was Burton. Martin. Mighty Mick kicks to centre wing. Oh, Stevens, that's a good grab.
Be a free kick to the Golding here.
Decides to give it back to Stevens. Obviously appreciates his kicking ability. A little bit of a nudge there. It's a good mark.
Bassett.
Left half forward taken by the full back, Nathan Bassett. Well, they're getting plenty of the footy, the Crows. Still can't bridge that gap. 1 point.
Do you like those check side kicks, Kev?
Not really. I'm not a check side devotee. This is a good mark. He can take some good grabs, hasn't he, Bassett, today? He missed a lot of games last year, Pete, and he still finished 10th in their best and fairest. I think he only played something like 13 games. So obviously he showed a lot last year, and even today he's taking some good grabs. Corey McKernan, who limped off with what we were told was a hamstring back-related injury and hasn't been asked to come back on since early in that second quarter.
King, Grant in front, Eccles over the top.
That's a correct decision, that one.
Man in front gets the nod. "21 possessions to Shannon Grant today, or disposals. Another one coming up here. Lovely balk. He could have been a little bit better. Bassett under pressure. Robran leaves it for James. Off the ground, Pike. Good tackle again. We saw there by Byron Pickett. Once he tackles you, you don't get too much further. Bell wrapped up in one as well. Bassett with the left-hand handball. Onto Robran. Likewise, Prosciutto. Mark him down for Mark of the Year. It was a sensational grab in the second quarter. Take a lot to beat that, but the ball beats these players. Capuano and Burton over the line for the throw-in, 25 metres from the behind post, a minute and a half to three-quarter time.
Shannon Grant's had 13 kicks and 9 handballs. Anthony Stevens 14 and 3. Peter Bell 13 and 5. Brent Harvey 12 and 6. So there's 4 little guys getting heaps of the ball. Up by David King over the line after that quick little kick.
And Connell, who started on the bench, Pete, for the Crows, has had 12 and 2, so he's done well since he came on.
Yes, he has done very well since coming on. Matthew Connell. Ben Hart's been good. He's had 12 kicks And well, he's taken 8 marks, Ben Hart. Well, he's a class player. Golding used his body well, then kicked into his teammate. Here's Pike, tackled by Jarman. Jarman kicked into his teammate. Bassett's down there. It's shuffled out. David King went straight to the boundary line, and at the 50-metre line has put it over.
David King missed a few games through injury, but certainly adding run out of defence for the Roos today. You don't see David King put in too many bad games. Capuano in front. And there's a bit of, well, Pickett got wrapped up in a tackle. He's usually applying them. It's going to be a ball up, inside 50. Good percentage booster at the moment for the Kangaroos. Mark Bickley on the bench. He left the ground early in the first quarter, and he won't be coming back. It's a bad ankle injury, we're told. McCartney into space. So too is the football. Beating Scott over the line. He's been on the bench for a lot of the day.
Pete, you wouldn't pick it up on camera, but forward of the 50-metre line for the Kangaroos, there's no one down there.
Well, the block of flats down there, Aussie, eh? Here's Pickett again, getting wrapped up in a tackle. That was from Costa. Now Bassett. The 2 number 8s tangle. Scott's got him, but he's not going to get the football. It's going to be a ball up with half a minute remaining to three-quarter time. And there's the gap that Aussie was speaking of. Not much down there. Nice green grass.
No, not a player on
within 80
the
metres
offensive side. And we're right in line with the centre circle. Well, there's Brett James kicking a goal, and I think he's got a point here, I'd say. Yes, he has. And still not a player has gone back on the North Melbourne attacking zone, and still they haven't. So they're crowding that back line. The numbers have gone down there, the Kangaroos. This is Brent Harvey has been very, very good. As the siren sounds, well, the Kangaroos, I should say, with this game well and under control, Kevin.
Yes, with this amazing kicking. 20 goals, 5, 125 to 11, 8, 74. And Malcolm Blight, if you're just pondering there with Terry Moore, just what they can come up with in this last quarter. But so far, they've been able to extend the lead. It's a 52-point lead after leading by 43 points at half-time. Mark Rasciuto, very good in that second term when he booted 3 goals. And a very relaxed Dennis Pagan, and Mark Dawson comes down. The Kangaroos in a fantastic position to maybe pick up some good percentage here. Malcolm Blight will be looking to see if they can salvage something out of this game in this final 20 minutes that coming up in this fourth quarter. But at three-quarter time, it's a very good performance by North Melbourne, who lead 125 to 74.
A Mother's Day morning here at the MCG. Dennis looks worried, but he's not, I'm sure. 51 points at the margin, and remember, at quarter time it was 49. So the Crows have kept pace with the Kangaroos, but it really hasn't been good enough after that onslaught. And it's pretty hard to come back from that. It was 10-3 to 2-2. Now it's 25 to 11-8. We'll take a break from the MCG. Back shortly.
Players have been the driving force behind North Melbourne, getting the ball quickly into their forward line, and we know Scholes finished it off with 6 marks and 5 goals.
Start of the final quarter at the MCG, round 7, the rematch of the grand final. It's going to be a different result today, with the Kangaroos blitzing their opponents in the first quarter. Abraham tries to get clear, loops the hand pass. Grant from Harvey, short in towards full forward. Scholl couldn't complete it that time. Hart might have been taken high. Still good enough to get his kick, Ben Hart. Boots it back towards centre field. Capuano couldn't complete it. Oh, Abraham provided a shift. Then a little bit of a fumble by Simpson, but he's got half an hour to make amends. And Scholl makes amends as well. Doesn't drop that one. And a chance to boot goal number 5. In fact, goal number 6.
Gee, he's looked sharp today too, Scholl, hasn't he? He's just loped onto the ball. He's taken some fine marks. He's found space. And the one thing he has done today, which has been absolutely magnificent, is that his kicking has been absolutely spot on.
And the secret has been he's been coming straight up the middle every time too, Kev.
5 goals straight he's kicked.
Can he make it 6 straight? Goal umpire hasn't moved.
It's a problem many of us have, and
Sam has it bad.
You can't get much larger. The skin won't stretch any more than that.
He's in dire need of a doggy diet.
Gotcha. That way, he doesn't get it. I do.
Is this a solution we can all try?
Low-calorie dog food.
Harry's practice at 6:30. Then at 7.
2-man enter, 1-man lead.
Ever wanted more action than Jackie Chan? Is Brooksy really ready for the judo chop? Kids Speak, tonight after Harry's practice on 7.
Harvey, Scott Welsh and Corey McKernan.
Thank you, Richard. 21-5 plays 11-8. Capuano, but the umpires found a free kick. It will go the way of Adelaide.
On the shoulder.
And it is Darren Jarman. There's a beautiful kicking style in towards Rashudo. It's thumped away from him, socket off the ground, and that's out on the full. And it'll be an Adelaide kick way out at half forward. Let me see who it is. It's Peter Caven. So he'll be going short. Oh, dangerous kick. With the umpire making him come back and kick over the mark. So Peter Caven, too far out to score a goal. May look for a short one. But he's forced into kicking it high in front of goal, and the pack develops. Up they go. Mickey Martin spoiled what would have been a mark to the Crows. And a great kick. Finds Shannon Grant. Good play by Mick. Grant, lovely kicking style. Looking for Archer. Smart. Just got him out of the way. Quick hand pass comes down in the direction of Smart again. That was from James. And eventually it's just shuffled around the boundary line and over about 60 metres around from the Adelaide goals. We go down to Aussie with the Crows bench.
Pittman, Bickley, Tyson and Gallagher.
Thanks, Aussie. Throw in right on 50. Won by Capuano. There's a free kick here. David Howlett said it's going to McCartney. McCartney short of right half back. Squares it to Bell, onto Pike. Lovely balk to get around Edwards. Only just at the end. Kicks up towards the centre square. Eccles, a little bit of a fumble. Gets taken out by Abraham. Good buck. James, wrapped up by Harvey. Caven, likewise by Harvey. Onto Golding. Archer, tackle, ineffective. Brushes it up towards half forward. King, solid in defence. Long hand pass. Well, you wouldn't ping him for deliberate, but I think that was the intention just the same, wasn't it?
But that was clever. Kevin, he looked up and he saw two Crows play, so he deliberately went wide.
Well, I think there's no doubt that he wanted to put the ball over the line, so he did very well, but he couldn't ping him for it.
Robin.
35-metre handball.
Connell, little spiral punt. And he finds King on the end of it, though. Out to Pike. He's looked pretty good today, pretty solid. If it gets past Martin, you'll find Pike there. It's not much consolation. Peter Bell. Didn't he have a great first quarter with those two goals? Really got his side moving. Clayton takes the mark.
Shane Clayton off and running. They look full of running, the Kangaroos. He drives into half forward. Nigel Smart. Like, this is his best position around that half-back area. No doubt about that. He's a rebounding half-back. Kicks it to Connell. Had an excellent third term. Connell to half forward. No mark. Just enough pressure put on. That's John Blakey kicking into the open spaces. It's all Kangaroos. Brent Harvey will get there first. This is Winston Abraham. Plenty of time to go back and kick it into that centre half forward area. Over the back of the mark is Durkay. Now, was it a free kick? And that's probably a good umpiring decision. Could easily have been sucked into a free.
Good body work here, I reckon, by Durkay. He's got his eyes on the ball. Just a bit of contact. Never really moved off his line, and his feet were solid on the ground.
So Gary Durkay is a beautiful kicker. Very similar to Winston Abraham. He's great kicking styles, and they kick a long way. He's not a big man. He certainly looks a lot fitter.
Solid.
Pretty solid, but he's a lot fitter looking than when he was at Fremantle.
Kicked 6 goals for the season, Pete.
So Gary Durkay will have to kick it about 52 metres as he lays back on that, trying to just drift it in. It's helped on its way by Ben Hart and through for a behind.
Big fly by Scholl at the back too. Rushed behind. Oops. You don't often see. Now he's paid a he blew the whistle, maybe a little bit prematurely. McLeod is going back to take the kick. It's not going to alter the result of the game. It's in Sean Wren corner when he was pinged for holding the ball. Remember that? Controversial holding the ball decision. Smart against the Roos in one of those close finishes. Robran. Pike to Clayton. Very accurate hand pass. Stevens. Pickett at midfield. Over the head of Durkay. And Hart works himself into a position to be able to take the mark. And with Sting gone out of the game now, Ben Hart looking for options across half-back, decides to go short, finds Eccles. Malcolm Blight certainly had plenty to say at three-quarter time. I guess along the lines of pride, play for the jumper, see what you can salvage from the contest, which really hasn't been a contest, has it, since, well, I suppose, halfway through the first quarter. Ceased to be that. Oh, Robin, that's a good mark. Pumping kick. That one's no exception. Oh, well, Mick was held onto by Rashuto, who gets back quickly, but the ball eludes him over the line in front of Harvey, and it will be thrown in 35 metres from goal.
Well, Mark Rashuto kicked those 3 goals in that second term, but probably since half-time, didn't have a great impact on the game in the third quarter, Mark Rashuto.
Well, there's Bell getting it out to Harvey. Around the boundary line it goes. Adam Simpson has got it and just gets his boot to it. To half-forward, that's a good mark to Stevens. Desperation, kicks to the half-forward line. Ben Hart, he'll go back after it. He's a good player, this guy. Almost caught, he is caught. Gets in a hand pass, though. McLeod comes in on Stevens, and the umpire, oh, a free kick. Will go for holding the ball.
It's great running by Stevens. He kicked the ball down there. Then he really ran hard and really made this a contest. And he's got a free kick out of it. He handballed the ball, so that's okay. Look at the desperation here of Stevens. Now, he kicked the ball down there, Pete, and made all that ground.
Well, he's kicked it across the shoal, and you couldn't have a better player kicking for goal. He's already kicked 6 now. It's on a 45-degree angle, and he'll have to kick it 45 metres. But he's got
6 straight, Pete.
Well, he's got a beautiful kicking style, Kevin. He's relaxed. You see those arms are relaxed. Look at that. Some blokes tighten up and they look nervous. He is just very, very relaxed. Let's see what he does with this one. Just drifts it across. Didn't quite get onto it, and one behind. And the crowd, the North.
Will we give him the behind, or we say it was
Yeah,
right?
I'll give him the behind.
Yeah,
Why not?
give
Be
it
generous. Well, Ben Hart's been very, very good as usual. He's a terrific player.
He's a terrific player. He's had plenty to do today. Jarman gets taken out of the contest by Archer. Free kick, according to the umpire.
To Archer.
Going to Archer. Archer was the man who started on Jarman, and Archer was one of the players instrumental in the first quarter that got the Roos off to a flying start. He was magnificent. He can play anywhere. Sort of in the mould of a Terry Danaher, I guess. Capuano in front. Couldn't complete it. Goodwin gets it onto James. Punch away by Pike from Caven. Pickett does well. Shannon Grant not wasting any time. Caven on the mark. Capuano. Too easy. Well, they had 2 options there. Archer was breathing down his neck. Left it for his teammate. And Capuano has a chance.
Used the ball beautifully today, Shannon Grant. This is just typical of the way that he has pinpointed passes to his teammates.
Well, 11 Roos players have scored goals. Capuano could make it an even dozen.
Those guys hurt you more than most players that can kick it so quickly and low and hard.
Thank you, Capuano. From 35 metres. He likes it. It's a goal.
It was a head-on collision. One of the cars swiveled around and slammed into the back of our car. I was rather anxious about what would happen with insurance companies because I'd never had to claim before. My husband and I have 9 children. We didn't know how we were going to manage because the whole family was reliant on the one car. Well, Amy said that they would arrange everything for me. We really felt that they cared about us. They realised the difficulties that we faced by not having the car. I think Amy really did make an effort to get us back on the road. I'm very happy that we had been insured with Amy.
Matthew Capuano has kicked his first, and Kangaroos doing it pretty easily at the moment. Oh, now was that high against Shannon Grant? No, the umpire didn't think so. So it'll be a bounce, 139 to 74. So they've got some sort of revenge back today, but Adelaide's last goal, 19-minute mark of the third quarter, and we've got just over 11 minutes left in this game. Capuano, Pickett flies over the back, gives it to Grant, on to Clayton. Umpire's found a free kick, though, in the centre of the ground, and it will go the way of Adelaide. So the ball will be recalled.
Yeah, they called that a throw. The crowd weren't too keen on that one, and I've counted every one of them, Macca. There's 22,006 people at the ground today.
Thank you, Richard. As we see Goodwin down the middle, and it's a mark. A good mark. Down there to Burton. Brett Burton started an interchange. Hasn't been in the play a lot.
But he can mark, and you mentioned earlier, Pete, that maybe one day he might take the mark of the year because he's a high-leaping player. Hasn't quite been able to finish off his work today.
Well, he's 45 metres out, runs close to the man on the mark, and again, I just don't think his kicking matches his marking ability at the moment. Maybe they can work on it a bit and improve it, but he's just not a driving kick.
Well, it's an area he's got to work on. I saw him a few weeks back at Football Park take a couple of spectacular marks, but wasn't able to finish off, and he's hit the post once today, but he's had a couple of opportunities, but he just hasn't been able to score a major.
Welsh, the Roos going for their biggest ever win against the Crows. That was 80 points, 1994, round 12 at Optus Oval. They may still be able to do it today because we're just past or just getting to the halfway mark of the final turn. This is Peter Caver on left centre wing. Good stretch by Edwards. Now Burton has it knocked away by Pike, and Pike kicks into the man straight in front of him. That was Burton. It ricochets over the line. That's a fierce countenance. I like the little wink.
Looks like he's preparing for a world title fight, doesn't he? With the,
he does.
With the 5 o'clock shadow and the shaven head. Could be fighting for the middleweight championship of the world against marvellous Marvin Hagler.
I wouldn't wink at him in the bar, I can tell you. Shannon Grant, he's had a terrific match, hasn't he, Grant? Gives it to Mick Martin. Tries to spiral it to the outer side. He'll find, if the bounce is okay, Peter Bell. One of their stars in their first quarter onslaught. Welsh will try for the specky. No, he couldn't. Hart was there. Good spoil by the Crows defender. Arguably a free kick.
Brilliant play, Hart.
Stevens a chance in front. Tackled by Welsh. Ball jarred free again. Stevens. Tyson at midfield, tries to draw Martin to him. Don't think I want to try that too often. The hand pass almost went astray. Picked up by Edwards. Fumbling is costing them. Bassett. Now Edwards again. He'll give it over to Goodwin. Goodwin goes at goal. The defender, well, kicked it like one. We can say that because it's hit the post. Simon Goodwin's first score of the day. One behind. Crows fans aren't happy, as you wouldn't expect them to be.
Hit the post 3 times today. Matthew Connell, also Brett Burton, and Goodwin now. 3 posters for the Crows.
And Pike had to make ground for that. Took off like a topspin lob, but he touched it just inside the line. Throw in.
Well, North are looking again like they're going to be a force, because certainly the Carey is to come back into that side, make an enormous difference. And
also Mark Roberts is out.
Mark Robertson. Well, they're a very talented side, the Kangaroos, as is Adelaide. Tyson, he's a terrific tackler. Pickett. Here's Stevens, hugging the boundary line. Oh, look at Archer come on the side and launch himself into that ball.
Courage that, wasn't it?
Oh, and he keeps his eyes on it. Never wavers. In towards half forward. Jarman has it thumped away by Blakey and over the line in front of the Melbourne members. Put the sting right out of this game at the moment.
Let's have a look at this mark again. This is a fantastic mark. He's just coming in from the side. No fear for his own safety.
Throw in front of the now inaptly named Smokers stand. Punch to the front by Mooney. Simpson counts it over the line. 63 points the margin. It doesn't look as though it'll be the Roos' biggest win over the Crows. May still be. We've got just on 8 minutes to go in the match. But as Pete said, the sting has gone right out of the game. James, a little gift to Connell, who gets ridden into the ground by Clayton, holding the ball. Connell certainly has tried. Started on the bench. He's had 14 and 2 plus 5 marks.
Gee, even then he didn't have a lot of chance, did he? Just received it.
Shane Clayton. A couple of clubs under his belt. And now to punt Fitzroy, and also up in Brisbane from just inside 50. Another poster. So one behind, registered to the Roos, kicked by Shane Clayton, his second of the day.
He's one of the many players that came from the Northern Knights. They've produced a lot of AFL footballers, that club.
Excellent footballers. Connell marks it in front of Welsh.
Chris Johnson, Anthony Rocker,
Eccles,
Brent Harvey,
Stevens, a fly. I think he came from there as well, didn't he?
Leckus, Angelo Leckus.
Marking contest on centre wing. Pike got a little bit underneath it. Flipped up to him by Archer. That was not a bad sort of a give. McCartney bombs it down. Big long punt down towards the point of the square. No one can drag it in. McLeod there. Dual Norm Smith medalist. Stevens takes it from Connell. Goodwin. Up towards Rasciuto. Martin will need to get back quickly. James to Rasciuto. He's kicked 3 already. 25-metre hand pass to Kane Johnson. A little bit too severe. Johnson onto his right. Snaps. Won't quite make the distance. If it does, it's inaccurate. And punched through for a rush behind to the Crows. Andrew Starton. Can we take off him? He does Bruce very well.
He's good. He's very good, Andrew. Can he do Bob Hawke, Pete?
Yeah, so much fun here today with the Crows.
And he's a Crows supporter. We shouldn't let him into Victoria then. As we see Shane Clayton to the half-back area, and it's thumped over the line.
And we're not going to ask you to sing.
Gary Durkay there, and with him is Brady Rawlings, just doing some warming up. And probably you would think Wayne Carey would come back into the side next week. Let's hope so for the game's sake and for the Kangaroos' sake.
Think he'll get a game, Pete, or have to play in the reserves?
Well, I wonder about that, the way they're performing.
Might have to bring him back through the reserves, don't you think?
Bring him back through the reserves, yeah.
Get odds on that.
He's Brent Harvey, who's been very, very good, and he's got one asset in particular that is invaluable in AFL football, and that's pace. If you've got that super quickness off the mark, you can go a long way in this game. Harvey to the half-forward line. Oh, gee, 3 or 4 Crows defenders thumped it down his cave and giving it to Tyson. He's off and running. Clever little hand pass over the top to James. James, a low trajectory kick, finds Bassett. Could have run on, but he's a left footer. He can have a shot from there, and we'll have to kick it about 45 metres.
1 goal in his career.
So Nathan Bassett will kick for his first goal of the game and his second of his career. Thank you, Peter. Let's see if he kicks like a defender. If he's a typical left footer, he'll hook it to the right. Well, if not a bad looking kick, he didn't quite make the distance and forced through for a behind.
So Nathan Bassett remains with 1 career goal. Not a great day for the Crows, but plenty to celebrate for the Kangaroos. Byron Pickett. I'd like to see him playing on Libba. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? See who could out-tackle the other. Johnny Blakey's got a free kick here at right half-back. 33 in July. 135 games with Fitzroy. Played in their 96 premiership side. Will he go on for another year yet, I reckon, the way he's going. Grant again. Blocked by Jarman. But Grant has been in everything. Gang tackle. Jarman looks for a free kick, and Peter Caban backs him up, and the umpire agrees with them.
I think that that was a good decision. I don't think Grant was making any attempt at all to get that ball out. He made plenty of actions, but I don't think any of them was to get the ball out.
They get it onto Tyson. Tyson onto Connell. Inside 50. And good defence down there from King. Rushes it through for 1 behind. And comes up a little bit sore, David King. Let's hope he's okay. landed awkwardly. Might have twisted his right ankle there behind the goalpost, actually. This is young Mooney playing his first game, and doesn't he look like his brother? And a good breeding ground, the Riverina. Simpson gives it back to him. Mooney's been a revelation down at Geelong this year. A great career move, that. Let's hope his brother can emulate his feat. Scholl has been fantastic today at full forward. On to Peter Bell, who's knocked up getting kicks. Very dangerous up forward. Bell's kick. Chance for Rawlings, already a goal kicker. Archer takes the hand pass, gives it back to Grant, who gave it to him. Bounce is going to be important here in front of goal. Hart puts his body on the line. That was well done. Gets it over to James. They may be able to run this out. Goodwin gives it over to Smart. In turn onto McLeod. In trouble. Archer's there. No holding the ball decision. Rawlings gives it to Archer. Into the forward pocket intended for Clayton. Clayton traps it, but I think that might have been out of bounds. Yes, it was. So it's going to be a throw-in the forward pocket.
Pete, I think we just saw that young Cameron Mooney tackles like his brother too.
He's a big lad, Aussie, isn't he?
Oh, he's a big boy. Reminiscent of his brother, not just the way he moves, the way he bounces, the way he kicks, everything.
Jason doing very, very well with Geelong, of course, at centre-half forward, and is a strong tackler. Now, here's Mark Stevens playing against his old club. Chip pass is a good one, and he finds Burton. Brett Burton, way out at half-back, crosses the centre wing area, Pike and Caven. Caven was hung on to then. The umpire calling play on Adam Simpson to Pike. Now, maybe it's coming back because it was originally a... Well, Bassett's got it. I thought it should have been a free kick to Caven for holding the man, as you can see. But anyway, Bassett's got the free kick into half forward. Umpire calling play on again. Oh, cleverly done, Abraham. Look at that, dodging and weaving. And a long kick to the centre of the ground. A terrific mark there by Welsh. On to Harvey. Harvey, a low trajectory kick. Archer's got it. Good tackle by Nigel Smart. Harvey again with that pace I was talking about. Onto the left foot, but he's kicked it behind.
2 goals, 1 to Brent Harvey. Yes, read Jeff Farmer when you talk about pace close to goal. He was magnificent yesterday with 6. Corey McKernan, who would have won the Brownlow in 1996, but for a 1-week suspension. Let's hope that McKernan's injury isn't as bad as originally thought. When we saw him last run around the boundary, he looked to be okay, so that's a good sign. And, of course, he wouldn't be risked with the difference in the scores here. Tyson's got the ball in the back pocket. Or just up from there. On to Smart. He's been busy. Ball's been down there a lot. Hart, Stevens. Stevens from right centre wing. Mick Martin gets front position again. Mooney tries to barge past Edwards. Grant, you'd think the scores will level the way the Kangaroos are attacking the footy. Ben Hart at midfield. Jarman and Simpson. Won by the latter. Pickett. Look out. Jarman thought he had him. Ball nearly out of bounds. Simpson again. Back to push. The umpire has ruled the ball's coming back. And it's going to who? Bit of cramp there to Simpson. That was Harvey on the ground with the cramp. You can see what that was for, Kev.
Well, we see here with Harvey just getting pushed over the line, and then Simpson kicking the ball down. They didn't pay advantage, so it came back to Harvey.
He's been good too, Harvey. Had too many passengers. Peter Bell's got it.
We've had so many good players today. Bell's been fantastic. Harvey's been a marvellous player. So has Scholl. Shannon Grant has had a terrific day out. They've had so many good players. Adelaide's hardly had a good player today.
Adam Simpson has taken a brilliant mark here across half forward. Now he's going to kick it long for some running forwards. Rawlings puts himself at the front of the pack. Here's Brett James. Further afield it comes to Ben Hart. As I said earlier, he's been outstanding. That was from Johnson, that hand pass, and that's a free kick. It will go the way of the Kangaroos against Jarman. He looks on laconically and will go to Blake.
Well, free kick to John Blakey. He's playing his 281st game today, John Blakey.
And he hasn't played too many bad ones either, John Blakey. big thump away. Connell has tried hard, bending it around the corner, and he finds Goodwin.
So only a few seconds remaining. James puts it high. And they come from all directions. There's a free kick here. The advantage paid. Tyson Edwards takes advantage of that. The mark taken by Tyson as the siren goes to signal a resounding Kangaroos victory. I think Tyson will have a shot nonetheless, but of course it's not going to alter the game. In the wash-up at the end of the year, it may be important for percentage, but it's time for the Roos supporters to celebrate. Not as important, of course, as winning the grand final, but some revenge at least. Tyson from round about 50 metres to the punt road goal. Looks as though he's kicked it. He has. So Tyson gets his first goal. North Melbourne President Ron Casey. Time for him to celebrate as well. He'll be pretty happy, Case. The Kangaroos final score 22-9, 141 Adelaide, 12-13, 85. Here's Aussie.
Well, Charlie, you were just saying to me you need that win. 8 goals head start in the first quarter. Great win for the boys.
Yeah, it is. Aussie, we really needed that today. You know, we've really planned ourselves for this game, and it all went our way in the end. I mean, the boys were just sensational. I thought we stuck to our roots, and that's all we wanted, just come away with a win, and it was a bit bigger than what we expected.
Personally, it's always pleasing to kick a bag. Kicking 6 goals today, you're in great form.
Yeah, it was good to get a kick. I've had a couple of weeks off, and it's good when you're 30 or 26. But you know, you come back fresh, and it's good for the legs, but I was happy today, so it's good.
I suppose another positive for the Kangaroos, Wayne Carey to come back in the team too, so it's only going to look better.
Yeah, mate, that's right. We've got Duck to come back. Mark Roberts played well, and a young bloke, Ken Kinsley, kicked 8 in the reserve, so it's good for us. It keeps the pressure on us blokes in there, so it's good.
Thanks, mate. Enjoy the win.
He'll be hoping he doesn't get his spotted full forward if he kicked 8 in the reserves, right? So, good news for North. Let's hope that Corey McKernan's okay. So, repeating the final scores, the Kangaroos 22-9, 141, defeating Adelaide 12-13, 85.
This Mother's Day with love.
Tell me what's happening. I don't know.
With tears.
It's happening.
And wonder.
Anybody see that? There was a noise. Did you hear it?
Imagine doing what others only dream of.
You can seeing things so clearly.
Experiencing what others can't understand.
Ooh.
The stars of a civil action in the television premiere.
What you know about me the rest of my life? I'm gonna love you for the rest of life.
Phenomenon. Tonight on 7.
Honey, sure you know where you're going?
Sweetheart, it's me driving.
You're on the wrong side of the road.
Must be his first time on a bike.
Dad!
Who's up for a sandwich?
At Amy, we know there's a lot of bad luck going around. So when you've held a rating 1 for the last 3 years without making a claim, we believe it should be yours for life. So don't be penalised for a bit of bad luck. Switch to Amy now.
Don't you just love this country?
You can get it dipping. You can get it chipping. You can get it having a row. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic. Victoria Bitter. You can get it lumping. You can get it thumping. You can get it any old how. Matter of fact, I got it now. Victoria Bitter.
Hi, Kath. How are you? What? Really? Oh, now you have to tell me what happened. And then he said what?
Want a whole night's entertainment for $3? With Telstra STD, you'll pay no more than $3 a call to anywhere in Australia between 7 p.m. and midnight, Monday to Friday, all year round.
Hang on, Kath. Someone's at the door.
Here's a family who wants to enhance their outdoor living area and add value to their home with a new deck and garden. And here's the Mitre 10 specialist.
40-tooth blade, the more teeth on the blade, the finer the cut. So the tooth.
From the store that understands it's not just the low price, it's getting the right advice that really saves you money.
see you.
Shopping again plus, that's a real plus. Saving again plus, that's a real plus.
Light Dove Body Wash, new for sensitive skin, just $4.95. Hats, gloves and scarves, full range in store from $3.95.
Plus.
Farmer Value Sorbeline, only $3.45. Dr. Lewin Skincare Performance Pack, $99. And Colour Trilogy Kit, only $29.95.
Shopping again plus, that's a real plus. Saving again plus, that's a real plus.
Kangaroos in the end victorious by 56 points, their second biggest win ever over the Crows. Scholl got 6 goals for the winners, Jarman 3 and Rasciuto 3 for the Crows here this afternoon in the grand final rematch. Let's go over to Subiaco now for the clash between Fremantle and Geelong. Some highlights of the first half, and our commentators are Dennis Cometti, Ian Robinson and John Worsfold.
Barnes down to Hocking. Hocking's left foot kick is a bit of a mongrel punt kick. Lobs the ball at half forward. Mooney. Gathered now by Raleigh. Gets the hand pass out wide. Looks like a goal kicked by Arnott. Kicks it to the left forward pocket area. Big punch away from Mooney. Ball spills to the back. Prescott under pressure there from Melbourne. Harding gets the ball away, but missing the football was Mann. Comes out wide. O'Reilly, did that go far enough? No. Kick off the ground by Minch, was it? Minch's left foot kick off the ground's a goal. Kicked towards half forward. It's between wing and right half forward. It's Toya.
Looking for Gale. He finishes up behind, taken by Scholl, the dasher, who started last week on the bench. Had his problems with Daniel Chick when he came on. The kick comes in from Mensch, meantime, inside the 50.
The trainers have called for the stretcher.
They've called for the stretcher, and the umpire is waving play on as Stoneham hand passes to Mooney. A man on metres in the clear towards the goal square. Milburn will run in and kick the easiest goal in AFL footy. There's the bounce, about 10 metres out. Bouncing around in there like a pinball machine. Picking it up is Shep. He can snap it over his shoulder. He's kicked the goal. Well done. Umpire McLaren bounces it down then. Bandy, Mooney, won it into the path of Bamford, who runs into an open goal and scores.
Might be another kick here. So be careful there. It could be.
He's given the all clear, I think.
Now, some stations are taking a replay of that game a little bit later on, so if you don't wish to know the scores, look away, they're coming up on screen. Time here at the MCG. We'll take a break. Back in just a moment.
This match in the 1999 AFL Premiership season proudly brought to you by AAMI, Cadbury, Mitre 10, Ultra Tune and Sip and Save.